Without recommendation,
So-
sure. So, we'll excuse the customary
Well,
thanks.
excuse with the customary thanks, but
Thank you
stay
very
in the
much.
audience.
Thank you very much.
Si-
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Make sure you sign the sign-in sheet, your items 16, 18, and 19,
And
okay, on the
on-
sign-in sheet.
And on the piece, Madam Chairman, I move that we refer it to the body without recommendation.
So we're going to refer it out to the body with no recommendation, and I do have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second motion.
To adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? You have adjourned.
Call into order the regular meeting of the City Council for Tuesday, May 29th, 2018. Clerk will read the roll.
All right. Councilor Capone.
Here?
Councilor Della Sola.
Here.
Councilor DePiero.
Here.
Councilor Hanlon.
Here.
Councilor Marchese.
Here.
Councilor Matusky.
Here.
Councilor McKinnon.
Here.
Councilor McLaughlin. Councilor Simonelli.
Here.
Councilor, President Napolitano.
Here.
We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 members present. You have a quorum, Mr. President.
Okay, ask everyone to stand and salute the flag.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I have 2 announcements I'd like to make before we get started. First of all, Councilman McLaughlin will not be able to make it this evening. He's returning from a trip from this weekend. And also, I'd like to acknowledge one of our members whose birthday is today. I wish to sincerely offer Councilman Wayne Matusky a happy 60th birthday.
Happy birthday.
Half of us wanted to remind you that we all remember when we turned 60, but that's okay. Welcome to the club. Yeah, there's a few of you. All right, I'd like to entertain a motion to open public participation.
So moved.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Before we open public participation, I'd like to again read the public participation ground rules. Purpose of public participation is to allow Everett residents, taxpayers, and business owners an opportunity to bring issues and concerns before the City Council. Each participant will be allowed a limited amount of time to voice their concerns. Members of the City Council are not allowed to ask questions or comment on these issues or concerns. For that reason, public participation is not a forum to address any specific members of the City Council because they're not allowed to respond, identify individual members by name, or their ward is not allowed. If the participant wishes to be contacted regarding their issue, a counsel will be assigned to follow up with you via the phone number provided on your sign-in sheet. Ms. Clerk, do we have anybody on the sign-in sheet?
We do have 3 names. Yep. So the first person would be Carmen.
Please, come up, have a seat. Welcome.
Empiezo. Buenas noches. Mi nombre es Carmen Alvarado, residente de Everett desde hace 17 años.
Good evening. My name is Carmen Alvarado, and I'm a resident of Everett for 17 years now.
Nací en El Salvador y estoy casada y tengo 3 hijos. Una de ellas estudia en la Madeleine English School.
I was born in El Salvador. I'm married. I have 3 children, and one of my daughters, she studies at the Madeline English School.
Soy miembro activo de One Everett.
I'm also an active member with the One Everett Coalition.
Trabajo en limpieza en la ciudad de Cambridge. Para mí es un reto diario salir de casa por un trabajo de salario mínimo y tener que lidiar con el tráfico tanto a la ida como al regreso.
I work in Cambridge as a janitor, and for me it's a daily challenge having to work the minimum wage, but also to have to deal with traffic coming in to work and also out of work.
Necesitamos toda la ayuda posible para hacer realidad esta oportunidad única de que los 500 puestos de trabajo ofrecidos en su día por el casino sean ocupados por los residentes de la ciudad desde el mismo está siendo construido.
we need all the help that we can get with this huge opportunity that we have with the casino coming, well, already here, building here in the city of Everett, but also the 500 jobs available, and that they should be taken up by residents that live here in Everett.
Representantes del Consejo Municipal, me dirijo a ustedes para pedirles que voten a favor de los fondos incluidos en el presupuesto para apoyar el programa de ESOL y mejorar nuestro nivel de inglés y poder tener acceso a los trabajos permanentes que ENCORE estará ofreciendo a los residentes de Everett.
So my ask this evening is, as representatives of the City Council of Everett, if you could please vote in favor for the funds to support ESL classes, and so people like myself can better improve our English skills to then have better opportunities for jobs that will be created from the Encore Casino. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Julia.
Good evening, everyone. Okay. Good evening, everyone. As the mistake, my name is Marina Moreno. I am from El Salvador, and I have been living United States around 4 years and a half. I lived 1 year in Everett, in Medford, and 3.5 in Everett. My husband and me, we own the two-family house in this city, and we work out the city. My husband worked in Cambridge, and I work in Dorchester. I need to take 2 buses to train at morning and at night, and the round trip is 3 hours every day, and it's a lot of time. It's because we have the big opportunity, great opportunity, and with the casino in our city, is going to generate a lot of employment, so we can work close. It's because we are here from us tonight because we need help for English, for computer classes, or for when we need, maybe we are unsure in something and we don't have any experience for working casino, and we need to take some different classes, you know? Thank you for the space, and nice to see you, everyone.
Thank you.
And the final speaker is Sandra Jackson.
Good evening. My name is Sandra Jackson. My daughter and my grandson and I have been Everett residents for 9 years. And during that time, I've been very active working in the schools. As PTO president at the Whittier School for 5 years, as a reading pal for 4 years, helping children with reading difficulties. And currently, I'm treasurer of the Everett High School PTO. And during the time that I worked in the schools, I discovered that too many of our families are really struggling financially. Most struggling families have both dads and moms working 2, sometimes 3, low-paying jobs. They were surviving, but not really living. A friend asked me if I'd like to volunteer with One Everett to help low-income families qualify for the 500-plus jobs that have been promised by the casino to our residents, and I readily agreed. One Everett's goal is to help interested residents become qualified for the offered casino jobs. We would act basically as job coaches, helping some to improve their English, get proper documentation, gain computer skills needed for the interview process, interviewing skills, et cetera, whatever they would need, we would like to help them. We have wonderful volunteers that have worked hard to put a job-seeking process in place. Finding enthusiasm and help from the mayor and members of his staff was a definite gift to our mission. We have a great team working on many different levels to help many Everett residents achieve their goal of obtaining a better job. Now we need you on our team as well. As in life, there is a cost to most everything, and our program is no different. We need your financial support in order to make this job-seeking process a reality. A request has been made by the mayor to help finance our program, and we sincerely hope that you carefully consider this request. With financial backing, we will all be able to help many Everett residents achieve their hopes and dreams of better jobs and a better living. I want to thank you all for the time and energy you put forth into keeping our city great and safe. Thank you, too, to your spouses and families for sharing you and your time with our city. Again, thank you for giving our financial request your careful and helpful consideration.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak in public participation? If not, I'll take a motion to close public participation. Have a second? The motion to close public participation, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Clerk, is there anything else on the sign-in sheet?
Mr. President, there are a few
Mr. President,
people.
if I may, a point of personal privilege. We lost quite a few people, and I would request that we have a moment of silence for Phyllis Trippi, who's the mother of employee Lou Staffieri. We've got John Forrester, who was a former Everett Public School teacher, and John Egan, who was involved in the community and was a Vietnam War vet. So if we could please have a moment of silence, I'd appreciate it.
Absolutely. Ask everybody to rise for a moment of silence.
Thank you, President.
Mr. Clerk?
Yes, Mr.
Do
President.
you have a sign-in sheet?
Yes, we have a few, there's just a few appointments that I would ask to take first, which is items number 4 and items number 8.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion for, take item number 4.
And 8?
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Clerk will read item number 4.
Item number 4 is an order offered by Councilor Peter A. Napolitano as president. It's an appointment of Elena Hickey to the Youth Commission for a 3-year term expiring May of 2021.
Spend Rule 20? Spend Rule 20?
No.
Have a second?
No, Mr. Chairman, favorable action first.
No,
There's nothing before us.
He just read
There's
the
nothing
items
before
before
us.
us.
There's nothing before us. You have to have something before us first. So I move
Yes.
favorable action on this item number 4.
Second motion.
All in favor?
Aye. No.
no,
You don't have to move favorable action. We just have it before us now.
Yep.
It's been moved and seconded to have it before us. That's all. There's no vote taken.
I
Now you
request-
can click and
I
read it.
request
That's
suspension
what has
of
to
Rule
happen from now on. That's the new rules. Always been the rule, sorry.
Just we never followed them.
Yeah, we never followed it.
Right. All due respect, Councilman Hanlon, if you found a fault with that, I would appreciate if you had taken me on side ahead of time, so I could have been on top of that before we started this.
Sure thing, next
Okay?
time.
So where are we standing, where are we right now with this?
Well, it's before us now.
Yeah.
Now it's before us.
And I make a motion that we suspend Rule 20.
Second
Okay.
motion.
We have motion for item number 4, for appointment of Elaine Hickey, the Youth Commission. We have a motion for favorable action. Clerk will read the roll.
We suspend
we need to
Rule
suspend
20
Rule 20
first.
first.
Okay, we have a motion to suspend Rule 20. It has been approved. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Clerk will read the roll.
For favorable action, Councilor Capone,
Yes.
Councilor Della Sola,
Yes.
Councilor DeFlorio, Councilor DePiero,
Yes.
Councilor Hanlon,
Yes.
Councilor Marchese,
Yes.
Councilor Matusky,
Yes.
Councilor McKinnon,
Yes.
Councilor Simonelli,
Yes.
and President Napolitano.
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays, Mr. President.
You have
You
passed.
have passed.
Item number
You
4.
have been appointed.
Congratulations. Welcome.
And number 8,
Suspend the rules and take item number 8.
Clerk will read item number 8, please.
item number 8 is an order offered by Councilor Peter A. Napolitano as president. It's the appointment of James Evans to the Disability Commission.
Favorable action?
Second motion. On the motion, I ask we suspend Rule 20.
Motion to suspend Rule 20. Second, all in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Councilman Matusky on the motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just think that the mayor has appointed a gentleman who I've known for over 40 years, maybe longer. And we all realize that the pay for these commissions are very low, if any. So it's really a civic type of duty that they're performing for this community. And I don't know about anybody else, but I receive a lot of requests for handicap parking spots. And Mr. Evans is one of the few people that actually can get around and be on this commission to examine some of the spots. I've had a brief discussion with him this evening, and it's so good to see him stay active in city government, Mr. President. We all know that he was in the political scene a few years back in the school committee and the city council. So I'd just like to congratulate him for taking this position, and I think the mayor made another great appointment here. Thank you very much.
Okay. We have a favorable action. It's been seconded. Clerk will read the roll. We've already suspended the rules.
Number 8, favorable action. Council Capone.
Yes.
Council Della Sola.
Yes.
Councilor DeFlorio. Yes. Councilor DePiero.
Yes.
Councilor Hanlon.
Yes.
Councilor Marchese.
Yes.
Councilor Matusky.
Yes.
Councilor McKinnon.
Yes.
Councilor Simonelli.
Yes.
President Napolitano.
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays, Mr. President. You have passed the order.
Congratulations and again, welcome. Okay. Clerk's going to swear in the appointees.
Anthony, you don't want the copy? This 1, 2, and 3, these zoning changes, right? We can have them go to committee and have them come before us with what they're trying to do, because there's nothing about height restrictions. I might as well put my number 30.
Shall bear true faith and allegiance to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and I'll support the laws and the Constitution of the Commonwealth. So help me God. I do solemnly swear that I'll bear true faith and allegiance to the United States of America, and I'll support the Constitution and laws of the United States. So help me God. Congratulations. I have one more person on the sign-in sheet.
Clerk, what's the next item on the sign-in sheet?
That would be, there'll be 3 items. It's 16, 18, and 19 that came out of committee this evening. You ready for me to read them? All right, Mr. President, sorry.
Clerk will
Thank
read
you.
the next 3 items.
Item number 16 is an order offered by Councilor Peter A. Napolitano as president. It's a petition for a flammables registration license for Easton Salt Co. at 201 Rover Street. Item number 18 is an order offered by Council Peter A. Napolitano as president. It's a petition for a new garage license for Eastern Salt Co. at 201 Rover Street. And item number 19 is a order offered by Council Peter A. Napolitano as president. It's a new repair license for Eastern Salt Co. at 201 Rover Street. These are all Committee on Government Business Development reports.
Mr. Chairman, favorable action, item number 16.
Second.
Okay, I have a favorable action, motion for favorable action and seconded. Councilman Kennon on the motion.
I wanted to bring them up before us, if we could ask them some questions, because in committee, we left it out that we were not acting on it. We wanted it out to the general public, to our general meeting, I mean. But there was a question posed to the petitioners in regards to, we needed an answer from them, actually, to see if a site tour and all that stuff would be available. So we never got that yet, but we're going to ask for favorable action.
Second the motion to send them up? You want to bring them up?
Yeah, I'd like to have them up before us.
Second the motion to bring them up forward.
Okay, you made the initial motion for favorable action.
Yes.
Okay, now you make a motion to second to bring them back up?
You got to, John, withdraw favorable.
You need to withdraw the
Just
motion.
withdraw favorable, yeah.
I'll withdraw my second.
Do I have a second? Do we have a second? We have a motion to have the guest speakers, the participant, the applicant come up. It's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Sir, if you please come up.
Welcome back.
Good evening.
We'll be brief. Yeah, just you'd have to state name and stuff.
Okay.
Names.
Brian Murphy. My name is Elizabeth Bresnahan.
And, Mr. President, through you, to our invited guest, we discussed this in committee, a little bit of length to it. We were asking, I believe my colleague had asked for site tours on poundage of salt that was going to be down there, or tonnage, a few variable things, and you said you were going to concur outside. Was that done?
Yes, that was done. And may I take a few moments just for the benefit of the full committee?
Please. Sure.
Be all right? And I apologize if this is repetitive for those that were in session before. But Eastern Salt Company purchased the property at 201 Rover in April of 2018 from Boston Sand and Gravel. And Boston Sand and Gravel operated the property under repair, garage, and flammables licenses to run their business of storage and maintenance related to sand, gravel, scrap metal, and salt, through the same licenses essentially that are at issue this evening. We're looking to operate essentially the same uses that were previously licensed, just for road salt. And what we're doing at 201 Rover, what we're intending to do, is operate a satellite storage site for road salt delivered by trucks from our central site in Chelsea and at other locations. And in conjunction with that use, we'd like to do maintenance and repair on our own vehicles, which is in limited number, as you can see from our application. Excuse me, and we're not operating a commercial garage. We're not intending to do that at the site. And we'd be looking at seasonal traffic for 6 weeks, essentially, during the winter, traffic from independent contractors looking to pick up their need for road salt for the safety and maintenance of their clientele, have you. With respect to our operations in Chelsea, we've gotten a number of we've participated in a number of good neighbor events, been awarded other things for our business there. So I just wanted to point all of that out for the benefit of the full committee.
Councilman McKinnon, continue.
Okay, so was there any concurring on the questions that we had asked? Thank you for that. No, thank you for that, but
I think if that's,
we'll get back to my questions.
I apologize. If that's what the committee would like, I think we're agreeable to that at some point later in June.
So there would be a site tour, additional traffic study of vehicles that would be going in and out truck-wise. That's my major concern, and my concern that I voiced within the committee would be the amount of heavy trucking, number one, from Chelsea to Everett with the tonnage of salt for storage. And then the other issue would be the commercial vehicles that would be coming, a number of those coming in addition to the many vehicles that we have ongoing now on 99, going into Boston through the bridge. So that's the issue that I have with it. It's a traffic standpoint, a traffic, public safety issue, and also that would be adding on to what we're already going to be existing, and also what's happening with the casino down there. So that would be an issue.
And again, the existing traffic has existed with regard to that business that was there 3 years, for the last 3 years.
And when did you take over again?
We purchased the property in April.
I want to say April 17th.
Has it been running ever since?
No.
Okay. So there's been a lag time, correct? A little bit?
Right, but, and I don't want to mischaracterize.
No,
but you stated that we're adding vehicles when actually the operation of those vehicles has been going on for 3 years.
But see, what the purpose right now, what you're intending to do down there is add smaller commercial vehicles to that mix, and I would like to know the number of that from a public safety standpoint.
Understood.
You know, and I mean, that's my opinion on it. We want to know, well, I would like to know. I'm not going to speak for the rest of my colleagues, but I'm sure they're listening now. But we want to know how many additional vehicles are going to be added to the traffic situation that's already existing now, plus what's going to be happening a year from now when that casino opens, and then you're going to be in there as well. So we need to know specifically what's going to be added to that. So if we can get that number, that would be a great thing, as well as a site tour that we requested. And there was a few other conditions. I'm not going to speak for the council that had asked that, but I think there was other couple of conditions we'd like to actually see or actually see on site if we could. So would that be a problem?
May I just ask a point of clarification? When
Sure.
you say the number of vehicles, sorry if I'm not capturing something, do you mean just the number of vendors that would be coming, that would be coming to pick up the salt from our, because I'm not sure.
I'd like to see both. I'd like to see the trucking from Chelsea to Everett, heavy trucking, and then I'd like to see contractors. That's what was stated, actually. There's going to be a number of smaller vehicles that are going to be coming in to pick up the salt, smaller contractors at that site. So we'd just like to see a number if we could.
Understood.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Counsel Capone.
Thank you, Mr. President. Through you to our guests, thank you very much for your patience and consideration on the site tour. I do think that would be the most beneficial use of time, is take a look at the site, see exactly what the intention is, the plans, the layout, and go from there. And so the one thing that I had asked you before, I wanted to make sure that we're clear that, I think you said sometime in June?
Oh, yes.
Okay, great. And whereas the season is January to February, if we were to kind of hold things off and go through that process, that would not work any hardship to you, correct?
Until sometime later in June?
Right.
No, that would be fine.
Oh, okay, great. The only other little wrinkle is, I know that some of the committee members would want to go, and I'm not sure if we could have everybody go out at the same time, because I think once we get to 6 members, we might have an issue with an open meeting. So depending on the number of interest of the members, we might have to do shifts if that wouldn't be too inconvenient. Once we reach 6 members in a room looking at anything, it's a violation of public meeting. So I don't know if that would apply to this. If it does, we might have to make sure that we don't get to 6.
So in other words, if you had 3 members show up at 1 o'clock and 3 members at 3 o'clock.
Or try 5 and 5, depending, because maybe some members don't want to come. So if we try to make it as least a number of trips for you folks as possible. But obviously the same day, maybe time shifts so that it's more convenient for you folks. But we can get into all those particulars. I just wanted to make sure that if we held off on the action to give the members a little bit more time to understand the process, that it wouldn't work a hardship to you folks. And I don't think it would, but I don't want to put those words in your mouth. I want to make sure that you're okay and that we're not doing anything that's going to hurt you. So if you're agreeable to that, I would ask that my members at this point, unless there's anything specific, hold off until we actually get out on the site and let you folks be able to go home. But I'll leave it up to my colleagues. So thank you very much for that. I do appreciate that.
Thank
So.
you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Murphy and Mr. Bresnahan, I do appreciate you being here this evening. What puzzles me is how a company can spend $15 million and not reach out to city government. How does that happen?
I would like to be back to you on that.
Okay. You know, now we know your business, well, I know your business in Chelsea. It's been there for years. And you're on the waterfront. Are there plans to eliminate the Chelsea facility for condominiums and development?
Again, I would have to, I'm not aware at this time.
Well, I'm aware of it. Your plan is to move your facility to Everett.
Absolutely not.
That's what I've been told.
Councilman, please stick to the point.
The
facts we
point
have.
is, Mr. President, here we are with 3 licenses. They're on the waterfront in Everett. We have a new casino. You seem puzzled, sir. Okay? We have a job to do. Okay? This is not amusing to me. This is waterfront area that hasn't been utilized in years. You're a rock salt company. You're not cement. Okay? There's 2 different products we're talking here. If there was rock salt there, it was used to rock salt the area, so the trucks that were there did not have an issue. Okay? I've done a little research, so. And your company has done a great job. I noticed you said you got some awards in the last few years. But going back about 10 or 15 years, you had some serious issues there with not covering the rock salt. I've been following this a little bit, so I didn't just fall off the turnip truck. But needless to say, I got there late for the committee meeting, so I didn't hear the whole conversation. But in fairness to this city council and to me and personally, I need more information before I can vote on any one of these items, okay? If it was put to a vote tonight, I'll vote against it. But there again, we are blindsided on the city council. Mr. President, these people are here in good faith, I would imagine. The Island End Committee, we've all heard the Island End Committee. Where are they? Do they have any standing on this? How they feel about it? You know, the little businesses that are down there. And I agree with Councilman McKinnon. Traffic is a major concern. The streets down there are all ripped apart as it is. It's unsafe. The area is just a big mess, okay? But I did take a tour of it. It's on the waterfront. You're close to the LNG property. I had different expectations for that area myself. I really did. But I'm not going to vote in favor of this evening, but if you can put some kind of picture together or some vision that what your intentions are, because I can just picture you leaving Chelsea. And I took a ride around that property, too. You bought everything on both sides of that.
Councilman, if you could ask a question.
Okay, the question is, I need more information, and I hope you can provide that, okay? This is serious to me, okay?
Understood, sir.
I don't know how people can buy something for $15 million and expect to just waltz into the city of Everett on waterfront property. So if I have to take a vote, I'm voting against it tonight until I receive assurances of what's going to happen down there. Thank you.
Councilman DeFlorio.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I know all night we've been talking about piles of salt. The items in front of us tells me nothing about salt. The item in front of me is flammable license, petition for a new garage, and a new repair license. So I don't know where we came up with the piles of salt when this is what's in front of me tonight. What am I voting on tonight, Mr. President?
You're voting on a flammable license, registration license.
Okay. This is a business that's been there. Boston Sand and Gravel has been there for years. They work 12 months a year with trucks going in and out. And I understand we want to go in a different direction. But these people bought the property. They're only going to be working 7 weeks out of the year. So the question is why don't we ask them not to detour the traffic on Broadway? Ask them to detour it somewhere else, if that's the problem. But as far as the salt piles go, I see nothing on this agenda that has anything to do with salt piles.
Do you have a question for them?
Am I correct?
You're correct.
Okay. So what are we're voting on what's on this agenda tonight. We're not voting on the salt piles. We're not voting on anything like that. Right now, what's in front of me is flammable registration, garage license, and a new repair license. You've already told us that the flammable material is less than what's there now. Is that correct?
That is absolutely
Okay.
correct.
You also told us there's going to be no outside mechanic going on. You're only going to be doing your own products, which is the front end loader
That's correct.
and the dozer. Those are the two items that will be repaired in that garage, right?
Correct. And I believe our application has a cap. And let me just, I understand that there are tiers for the garage license, and we've,
I just want to clarify things, because
That's
now
absolutely
I'm
correct.
just like, we're all over the place with this.
That's
on
correct.
something that's not in front of us.
that's all correct.
Okay, so my point is, we want to go, as Council Capone, which every council has the right, to come and see the site and to see how it operates. Basically, the site is going to operate with less headaches than Boston Sand and Gravel, because you're operating less hours. Am I correct? Instead of 12 months a year, you're really only operating 7 weeks a year with trucks going in and out, but you will be storing salt there. So there will be trucks from Chelsea bringing the materials back and forth.
That's correct.
Okay. But that's not what's in front of me. That's not what's in front of us tonight. So, I don't know. I'm confused on what we're doing, to be honest with you. Thank you,
Right,
Council.
what's before us is a petition for flammable registration license, so let's stay on topic, okay? Yes, Councilman Del Sol.
Good evening. I have a few questions. I know we want to take a tour in June of your property, but correct me if I'm wrong, we go in June, you're not going to see much except you're building a couple of trucks. The tour should be done when you're busy in December or January. If we go down there in June, we're going to see your garage, a couple of trucks, and if you come up with another proposal about the sand, the salt, that would pass. But if we go down there in June, what are we going to see from the difference from June to January?
Well, I think you're correct. It's not winter, as we all know. But I think that you'll see the positive changes we've made in the property ever since we've taken it over. We're at the end of May now. We took over the property in April, that we haven't had much time to really put our mark on it and clean it up from its prior use. So I think you'd be able to at least see that, to give yourself whatever comfort that gives you. And then, we can, January's a long time from
Right.
I don't think we want to put this on hold until then, but if you come at the end of June, or, in the summer, at your own convenience, see how we've taken over, see how we've cleaned it up, then we can go from there if you think a further visit is necessary.
Well, the biggest concern, as my colleagues said, that when the winter comes, that's going to be the truth of this whole matter. Not even what's in front of us, it's what's going to come in front of us next with the salt. The trucks, yourself, in the winter when they come in there to take the salt out, we have a lot of concerns about safety, Council McKinnon said. Are they going to be parking out on Rover Street, waiting to go in, causing traffic? That's something else that's coming up to me here. With the weather, if it's a nice winter, then it'll be, I won't say quiet there, but it'll be less than it's been other winters.
I think that's the nature of the business
Correct.
that we do. Again, it is, in the name of public safety, the salt, we all need the salt to get out of our driveways, get on the street, what have you. I can't predict what the winter is going to be like.
I would like to take a tour in June, and then sometime in the winter when it's busy, and if it's safe that we can go in there. I know when you're busy, you don't want to see 3 or 4 councils walking around when it's busy. It can be dangerous, but the whole thing is, going in there, we can see the true operation, how it's going on. We can go down there in June and see it looks beautiful. You got plants and flowers, and it's beautiful. it's all cleaned up and you cleaned up the shoreline, but the biggest concern is going to be the traffic and the chaos it may cause with the casino in 2019. So I'm just throwing things out here. You could sketch this down, and like I said, the tour, the salt, and one more question, the salt, if it's approved, let's say you got that big pile in Chelsea that's there now. Would you say half of that amount of salt would be in Everett, a quarter of it? Can you kind of give us an estimate?
I can't give you an exact estimate, but it would be considerably less because it is not our main location. We don't have the salt coming off the barges in Everett.
Half the pile that's in Chelsea?
I can't guess at this time, but it would be considerably less. And I understand council's concerns about the traffic, but I just want to reiterate that what we are essentially doing is trying to take the same licenses, the garage, the repair, and the flammables that were in prior use. And in terms of the flammables in particular, we've reduced the quantities that we're asking to be licensed to something less than Boston Sand had. So I'd just like to reiterate that, and thank you again all for your consideration.
At least my concern, what's on the table now, is not an issue. It's what we think's going to come next.
Understood.
So that's our concerns, at least my concern.
Understood.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman Hanlon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a point that someone may want to be interested in. We're talking about salt because when the petitions came up for the first 15 minutes, that's all they talked about was salt. That's why we talked about salt. We were only supposed to get into the other part of it, which we finally did. But I only have one small question for you. And that is Rover Street a public street? I mean, is it passable now? Can you drive on Rover Street right through? Or do you have to stop at the LNG facility?
You have to stop there.
I mean, I know you can go out commercial street area, that's okay, but can you go on Rover Street? That's my
No.
question.
There's a big.
I don't think the cement trucks ever went on Rover Street.
Man, I think there's a gate at the end of
Right.
Rover
You can
Street.
drive down there,
You
but
cannot go into the tank stations and all that.
But you can
That's-
still use Rover Street?
You can go onto Rover, maybe 3 football field
Oh,
lengths?
to get to their company?
Yes,
Yeah,
and then
I
it's
think- yeah,
pretty
and
much a
then-
dead end with a fence. You have to turn around and come back out again towards
Okay.
the old line park.
Okay, that eliminates a lot of trucks going out towards Broadway. That's all I want to ask. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, second round of speakers, Councilman McKinnon.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, on the salt pile. No. Sir, you told us what you do in Chelsea. What's your position again?
Manager,
You're the manager of?
jack of all trades.
Well, you got tagged.
Personnel,
And what is that company's name?
Eastern Salt.
Eastern Salt, okay. So we're talking about a salt company, correct? All right. And the bulldozers, there's going to be 2, correct? As testimony provided before in the committee?
One dozer.
One dozer?
And front loader.
And two front
One
loader?
front loader, one dozer.
One dozer, one front, okay. And what are they going to be utilized for?
Shaping the pile, so just
So they'll be moving a pile of salt, right?
That's correct.
Okay. So we established this fact in committee that this is a salt company, correct?
Yes, sir.
And we also established the fact in committee that you're going to have a front end loader and a bulldozer to move this salt, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that's why we have these licenses before us. These are just for the bulldozer and the front end loader, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. But these licenses right here are going to produce movement of salt at some point in time.
I'm sorry, I don't understand your question.
They're going to move salt, correct?
The vehicles will move
Yeah,
salt, right?
they'll move the salt, right?
Ostensibly.
Okay. So we established the fact that we're going to be moving salt down there. And with these licenses right here, we give them the green light to do so by doing that. So I just wanted to make that clear because that's what we got out of testimony in the committee, right? That's what we're going to be doing. And this is why you're here tonight, to get these 3
Councilman?
licenses.
Councilman, if I could, I don't mean to interrupt you, but the clerk would like to add some clarification.
Okay.
So the licenses don't allow them to move salt. They are allowed to move salt. If you don't issue the licenses, they could bring vehicles, service them somewhere else, and still move salt.
Okay.
We do not license them for salt. We license
So
them to have a flammable license, which is in
So-
perpetuity in the
So
property.
regardless of what we do tonight,
They
they're
can
still
move
gonna
salt
move
all they
salt.
like because
Correct?
they are in an industrial area
Ah.
zoned correctly and they're using the same use. We have no authority over that. We have authority over
Ah.
3 licenses this evening, and that is it.
so basically, we're here to just...
Grant 3 licenses.
Give 3 licenses up.
That is our job. That is your job. You are the city council. You have 3 licenses under your authority on their property, and you can vote up or down on those this evening. But the salt has nothing to do with these licenses. They will operate, if they so choose, a salt facility with or without these licenses.
Okay.
We do not license them.
I just wanted to, because we heard the discussion in committee, now we're hearing discussion out here in the general, membership. And, we're going with these 3 licenses, but these 3 licenses right here, and it is simple. It's, you vote yes, you give them a license, they can do whatever they want down there with the salt and, moving it and all this stuff. Don't vote for it. What's the next procedure? They'll still move it, but with different vehicles coming in from the Chelsea?
They could, if you voted no, you mean?
Yeah.
So they would
Just say you
still
voted
move,
no.
and they have 2 options. They could argue the point that they should have the licenses, and they could go to court, or
Sure.
they could move on and use equipment from another property. So in essence, we're pretty much not licensing to have salt on that property. So we're discussing something that is out of the realm of our authority.
So we're discussing this for no reason, no apparent reason. We shouldn't even have had a committee meeting, right? We shouldn't have done that either, and then we shouldn't have a license meeting. I mean, come on. When does it stop?
Councilman, the license is for them to be able to have fuel
Yeah,
on
and I agree.
site.
That's what
That's
we're
all the
looking at.
license is for.
But we all know it's a charade, and we know what's gonna go down there, and we know what's gonna happen. We all know that. And you all know that there's
No.
gonna be traffic everywhere down there, and you all know that you have a casino next to it, and then you all know that we have this on this side, right here. So what do we do? What do we do?
Councilman.
You broke your hammer.
I broke the hammer.
Yep, you broke it.
We are here to discuss the items in front of us, not speculate on the usage for those licenses.
There's no speculation.
It's a bag job.
There's no speculation.
Okay, I would ask all members to withhold their comments, okay? Let's not put ourselves in an awkward position. Let's do our jobs, okay? You have anything further down? Because I've got 2 new speakers and 1 second speaker. I'd just like you to...
I'll get you a new president, new hammer, Mr. President. New
Yeah,
gavel.
don't worry about that. I'll break that one, too. Council Simonelli.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you for Councilman Simonelli. What is the reason for a salt pile in Everett? Isn't 1 pile enough? We don't need another salt pile in Everett. What's the reason for you having 1 salt pile? Why do you need to have another salt pile in Everett?
I want to say this one more time. I'm going to ask one last time nicely for members who do not have the floor to refrain from comments. You're disrupting the meeting. I'll call a recess. We won't be back tonight. We'll leave the rest of the agenda open. But let's stick to business here. Council
Mr.
Simonelli
Chairman, I'll
has
ask
the
the
floor
question
right
one
now,
more time.
and
What is the reason for the second salt pile in the city of Everett? We don't need another one. So what is the reason for your second pile of salt coming to the city of Everett?
May I answer?
Please, by all means.
I'd like to decline, actually.
Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
One second. I've
Thank you,
got
Mr.
2
Chairman.
new speakers. You're
On a point of personal privilege, for this body, we are badgering these people who have agreed to let us do a site review. I think they've been very reasonable, and I think it's a very fair request, and I just implore our members to not badger these folks for the rest of this evening. Thank you, Mr. President.
Counsel Marchese.
Great job. Excellent. This is a way to welcome a business into the city of Everett. I'm going to tell you, I'm pretty appalled at what I'm hearing here tonight. Obviously, established fact, they're going to be trucking salt, storing salt. I'm sure in their business, and the only question I was curious about, can you unload one of those big tankers that you do in the river into the, in Everett? You know, when you have the salt boats come up, right? Don't the salt, don't the boats, don't you unload salt boats on Chelsea? Ships?
Yes.
Yeah. Can they do them in Everett? Okay, that's what I was saying. So that, there goes the deep water port strategy, that's gone. So you're more or less just going to become a store and probably getting more deliveries when the weather is better than it is, because I know it's a big business over there. But that's all I wanted to know. I mean, it could be a little bit of traffic, but it's not an all-year thing for you. And all you're going to do is come over the bridge, take a left on, what do you call it, Rover Street, Beecham Rover, and that's it. Front, back, and go back. And that's the extent of the traveling. I mean, it could bring a little bottleneck there because there's a lot of traveling there, but they're a business, and if that's what they do, that's what they do. So, I mean, during the summer, there was concrete trucks going everywhere the back way, so these are just going to be large dump trucks, same thing. And now, I mean, I don't have a problem with it. I mean, it's kind of clear. I was just curious if you could unload. And how much water does that take, that boat? It's a huge ship, salt.
40 or 45, I think.
45. What does Everett have? Maybe 20, 30?
Yeah, but that's not our property, that's somebody else. Closer to the water.
Which one are you in? I thought you on the waterfront?
We're further towards the road where Champion Salt was.
Yeah. Okay. I was a little mistake. Okay, no problem.
Would ask that you speak into the microphones. These meetings are all public.
Sorry about that.
Thank you. No problem. Thank you.
As long as the thing is designated as going to be salt and it's not going to be another recycling plant, I don't have a problem. Just put the definition there that is for salt only. It's easy enough. That's all. I mean, there's, you know, as long as it's not a license, have another recycling plant down there.
Okay. Any Councilman DePiero?
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to say that, you know, I know things have been done a certain way up here for a long time, but sometimes things are out of our control, whether we like it or not. I've done snow removal in the past, and there's times where you can't get any dang salt anywhere around here. And I think having more in Everett wouldn't be such a bad thing in an emergency. In some cases, I have faith in these folks that came up here tonight, that they're going to be good neighbors and will take us on tours of the property. They've done nothing that alerts me to believe otherwise. So I have no problem in voting for their licenses this evening. And I would make that motion for favorable action.
And I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion for favorable action. Okay, can I ask that we excuse the...
Excuse with the customary thanks. Thank you.
I had a question for them.
Oh, you have a
Okay,
question?
one
I'm
second.
sorry.
Okay, I thought when you jumped in...
No, I just tried to keep
All right.
the fire from
Then
blowing
let's
up
keep,
higher.
let's keep the
So-
jumping in, even though it's well-intended, to a
Well,
minimum, because...
it was
again,
valid, Mr. President.
I'm not disputing that, but
Okay.
parliamentary procedure is you speak twice, you don't speak again on the item. So, go ahead.
Well,
please.
I didn't speak twice on the
No,
item.
no, I'm not questioning
This will be the
your
second time.
rationale between jumping
This will
in.
be the second time.
Absolutely, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. First of all, I want to thank you for your patience. It's been a long evening. You've sat through 2 meetings, a committee meeting and a general meeting. And your intention is to obviously utilize the property for salt. That's the purpose of your business. And we can't license that. That's not within our realm. And no one here is saying that we can. What is in the realm are those licenses that you're looking for. That won't stop you or aid you in your purposes. It'll just make it more convenient, which we want good neighbors in Everett. We want good businesses in Everett. A city can't thrive without businesses. So, you know, you're welcome to be here. So my concern and the concerns that my colleagues have that expressed it tonight, I just want to make it clear that we just want to make sure that the operation is going to be run orderly. You strike, I agree with my colleague, you strike me as decent people, you come up forthright with what you want to do, but a picture paints 1,000 words. You go down to the site, We can see what you've done since you've purchased the property, what your intentions are, the layout of the facility. It'll put a lot of concerns to rest, I believe. So I do thank you for your patience. I do thank you for the opportunity to go to look at the site. We can coordinate that through our city clerk. And I won't be voting on it tonight favorably. I'll be voting to hold it over until we have that site review. I do know that it won't be the same operation in June as it would be in January, obviously. And again, you're not going to want us there in January because we're not going to get run over by all the trucks. But you're going to have, if it's going to be 2 pieces of equipment, so be it. You go to a site and you see 15 pieces of equipment, all of a sudden the 2 pieces of equipment, you start scratching your head. So I just want to take a look at the site, and I know my colleagues do, and I thank you for that opportunity, and I thank you for your patience. And I hope that getting to where we got to hasn't left any kind of a bad taste in your mouth. I think that we're all on board in the same place. It's a business that generates safety for the roads, so it's a valuable commodity for the city. We'll take the site, we'll go look at it, I think we'll be fine, and we'll go from there. So I want to thank you for your patience, and we'll coordinate that through the city clerk. Thank you, Mr. President.
Councilman DeFlorio.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't see why we can't vote on this tonight. With the understanding, the people have to understand, anybody that comes in front of us, we
Can we
welcome.
excuse our guest
We
if
welcome,
he's gonna-
no, we welcome
She has
every.
questions.
We welcome
ask a
you
question.
to our city. But I also want you to understand that if you don't follow our rules and regulations based on what's on our agenda, on these licenses, we can always take it away. So why do we have to wait to vote on it? So I just want them to understand that. If there are no further questions, we're excused with the customary thanks, and I'm ready to vote on this tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we have a motion for favorable action. It's been seconded.
On the motion?
On the motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. Now, I want to thank Ms. Murphy and Ms. Belanger for being here tonight. You know, this is what, being a city councilman's all about. If some members consider this badgering, I find it offensive, okay? I ask questions, that's what I'm up here for. This is a new company coming into our community, and we have a right to know. It's a big part of this casino area. It's next door to the LNG tanks. It's on the waterfront. Right across the street is a yacht club and Admiral's Hill. And there's been cleanup efforts in that area, Mr. President. This is, we're blindsided. Now I know these 3 little items here, flammable material and a mechanic's building. But you know something, there's a professional way of operating and there's an unprofessional way. And if you think that that's insulting a company that I have to vote for, I find it insulting. There's been no reach out to me or anybody else here that I know of. This is a big company in Chelsea. They own waterfront area from one end of the bridge to the other. And if you think there's no traffic down there, well, take a ride. I go to the airport quite a bit. There's a lot of traffic down there, and it's caused somewhat to that area. But there's no offense taken here. I get paid to do a job up here. And if you think it's badgering, that's your business. But I want some more information before I vote for anything up here, especially as big as this. I find it insulting. We got a casino 10 blocks away. Come on. Get with the program here. And vote the way you want. I'm voting no tonight unless I get a beautiful presentation. Where's the public relations? There is none. I feel like, this is our job here. You gotta ask a few questions. Oh, wait a second. Now, wait a second. There's a member here that used to work for the company.
Second in favor.
I'm not even sure she should
I am
be
calling
voting
the roll.
for it.
I did work for the company, and they're a great company. I've been
Take a
out of it
break.
for 5 years.
I don't need a break. I'm all
For
done.
5 years. I called the ethics committee. I have no gains from this company.
Councilors. We are in a public meeting. I know, but, you know, we're all bigger people, we're all adults. Let's.
Okay, we have a quorum. Okay, right now, there's a motion before you, and there was a motion to call for the question. Motion is for favorable action. It's been seconded. Clerk will read the roll.
On the motion.
Councilman Hamlin.
Thank you. And then at that time, ensure that we will have all the tours that we need to see, or just go down and look at them, and so on and so forth. I said that I had saw that salt pile, but I didn't go on a tour. I saw that salt pile from the top of the Mystic River Bridge. That's when I saw it, you know, so I didn't really go down there to see anything. I would like to go on the tour, and I would like to do it before we pass this license. So I make that motion.
Okay, so we now have a motion to postpone this till the first meeting in June?
25th of June.
25th of June, second meeting in June. It's been seconded. I believe that motion oversees.
It does supersede. Postpone will
Supersede.
go first,
So we have a
favorable
motion
action
right now to
second.
postpone this until the second meeting in June. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. Okay, I'm going to ask you to raise your hands. Chair's in doubt. All in favor, say aye. Raise your hand.
Aye. Aye, and raise my hand.
Opposed? The ayes have it. You've postponed this item to the second meeting in June.
Okay.
Thank you.
One, that's just
Now,
for one.
that's for item number 16. Clerk will read, so now we have item number 18 in front of us.
What are we doing, number 18?
We took them collectively now?
Okay,
cannot vote
motion
on
for
them.
favorable
I
action,
didn't
Mr.
vote.
Chairman.
Pete,
Councilman
well,
McCrae.
I just got to, I'm trying to figure this out. They can still pile salt there, so what is the problem with giving them the license to repair their property wherever they have to? What is it, what is it? So you want to go walk and look at plain land? They're going to pour salt, here's land, and you put salt on it. That's the tour? I mean, you kidding me? All right, go, just,
What number are we talking about? 18?
I believe there was a motion made for favorable action.
Second.
I have a second. Anyone on the motion? Councilman Matusky.
Thank you, Mr. President. Could we take all three of these and wait till June 25th until we get some type of a presentation? In fairness to those who are unsure, I know some people, some members feel that this is not such a bad idea or what. In any case, I don't have anything except for what appears on this calendar. Now, I know it's just about flammable material in the mechanic shop. But in fairness to the members who have some questions about traffic, it would be logical just to lay it over until we get a presentation from the company. That's all I'm
Are
saying.
you making that in the form of a motion?
All three pieces, wait till Councilman Halen's motion.
We did one.
And I'm seconding it.
I mean, I may vote in favor of it, but at least show me what you're going to do, you know?
No. I thought Okay.
I'd second this motion.
Okay, so first of all, parliamentary procedure, we've just get some clarification. We cannot postpone things for more than 2 weeks, so this will only be postponed to the first week of June. We'll need to retake item number 16 and then make an amendment to change that motion. But so right now we have a motion on item number 18 to postpone it. Okay, I'd like the motion restated now that I've clarified how long you can postpone it.
Hold on, which number are we on?
18.
18 is before us? I'll withdraw my motion.
No,
Mr.
no, no,
Chairman.
no. Right now, there was a motion made. Councilman, could you please restate your motion for me, please?
Thank you, Mr. President. My motion was that this company that seeks to come to Everett put a presentation, the tour would be fine, at least, maybe we can go to Chelsea and just lay these things out on the table with our name on it, the councilman, and show us and tell us what you're gonna do. That's all I'm asking. I can't, you know, when somebody asks me what's going on down there, I have no clue. I just want a brochure and some, what their intention is to do down there. Right now, we have a cement company, and now we're gonna have a rock salt company. So I just wanna know what the transition will be, how they plan on trucking this stuff in, if it's a train or a plane or a ship. That's simple. I mean, I don't know, it's common courtesy to me. So lay all three on the table until we get some kind of presentation. I see. All right, Mr. President.
But right now, if you want to get information, you need to postpone this till the next meeting in June.
Okay.
That
I'll
would
make
be the
that
proper
motion.
motion.
Second.
Now, the
Okay.
representatives
So we have-
here, I hope that they understand that we would like, I personally would like some information. So, and we're gonna lay it on the table for,
Okay, so we have a motion right now to lay
First
item
meeting
number
in
18, to postpone number
Postpone till
18 until the first week in June. All in favor? Opposed? Okay, the ayes, it's been, the motion to postpone it has been, did not pass. So we have a motion for favorable action. Clerk will read the roll.
Yep, he can. We have a request. I have to take it, Mr. President.
On the motion.
On the postponement.
Mr. President.
Yep.
Clerk will
They
read the
asked them
roll
before
for
the first meeting.
postponement.
Mr. President, on the motion, if I may inquire to our clerk, if we vote negative on this license, are they restricted from applying again this license for a year?
Petition. Is that a petition, not a license? Could
we have a
Could you
city
give me
solicitor?
two moments? Yeah.
Is there a city solicitor in the audience?
Can we have the city solicitor come before us?
Okay. With that said, Mr. President, if we're going to take a vote on this, and there's even the slightest chance that we're going to deny this license, you're guaranteeing a lawsuit. So I think these people have been very fair. I'm disheartened that some of my colleagues would prefer not to get more information before they vote, but if this thing comes to a final vote tonight, I'm voting yes.
On the motion,
Councilman
Mr.
DeFlorio on
Chairman,
the motion.
they have given us more than enough information. They've been here 2.5 hours. They were here an hour before. I don't know how much more information we need. What's in front of us is already there. It's already, this is, Boston Sand and Gravel is doing operations under this license. These people bought this place doing operations under this license. It has nothing to do with the salt piles. And I don't know what we don't understand about that. So we're gonna come up here June 1st to bring these people up here and bash them for another 4 hours? Shame on us.
Okay, right now, we're asking for clarification on, on what the vote was to postpone this, okay? It was in question by the floor, so we've asked for a roll call vote.
This is
The
on
motion
item number
before you
18,
is
Mr.
to postpone
Councilors.
this to 2 weeks.
Yes.
Yes. Clerk will read the roll. First
Has
meeting
to be till
in
the
June.
11th.
Number 18.
Yes. No, yes.
Counsel Capone.
Yes.
Counsel De La Sola.
No.
Counsel DeFlorio.
No.
Counsel DePiero.
No.
Counsel Hanlon.
Yes.
Counselor Marchese.
No.
Counselor Matusky.
Yes.
Counselor McKinnon.
Yes.
Counselor Simonelli.
Yes.
And President Napolitano.
No.
You have failed 5-5.
Okay. We have a motion for favorable action. Clerk will read the roll.
Counsel Capone.
Yes.
Counselor De La Sola.
Yes.
Counselor DeFlorio.
Yes.
Counselor DePiero.
Yes.
Counselor Hanlon. Counselor Marchese.
Yes.
Counselor Matusky.
No.
Counselor McKinnon.
No.
Counselor Simonelli.
No.
And President Napolitano.
Yes.
That would be 6 yeas, 4 nays, Mr. President. You have passed item number 18.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion
Chairman,
to
I'd
read
like-
it to, for favorable,
Chairman? I would like to make a motion, please. I'd like to make a motion for reconsideration on item number 16.
that's what I was in the process of asking for, Councilman. Okay, we have a
Let the
motion for
floor do it.
reconsideration on item number 16. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Okay. Make a motion, Mr. Chairman, to postpone that until the first meeting in June.
Okay, I have a motion to postpone number 16 until the first meeting in June. It's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Okay, I believe
Roll call.
that's failed.
Favorable action.
Second.
We have a motion for favorable actions and second. Clerk will read the roll.
Counsel Capone.
Yes.
Counsel De La Sola.
No.
This is,
No,
yep.
this is for favorable action.
Counselor,
Oh, so I'm sorry, yes on
What
that.
is this, first grade?
Table action.
Counselor DeFlorio.
Yes.
Counselor DePiero.
Yes.
Counselor Hanlon.
No.
Counselor Marchese.
Yes.
Counselor Matusky.
No.
Counselor McKinnon.
No.
Counselor Simonelli.
No.
And President Napolitano.
Yes.
That would be 6 yeas, 4 nays, Mr. President. You have passed item number 16 after reconsidering it.
Okay. We'll entertain a motion on item number 19.
Number 19 is not.
Favorable
been before us
action.
yet, has it?
All three have been
They've all been
read
read.
and are before us. You have to make a motion. on it.
Favorable action, Mr. Chairman?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion on item number 19. Favorable action. It's been seconded. Clerk will read the roll.
Counselor Capone.
Yes.
Counselor Della Sola.
No.
Counselor DeFlorio.
Yes.
Counselor DePiero.
Yes.
Counselor Hanlon.
No.
Counselor Marchese.
Yes.
Counselor Matusky.
No.
Counselor McKinnon.
No.
Counselor Simonelli.
No.
President Napolitano.
Yes.
Okay, we have 5 yeas, 5 nays.
Killed it
Failed
anyway.
To pass that license. Well, we have to understand the motions before us.
Make a
If
motion
somebody
to
that is in
reconsider
the
item
favorable
number
can
19.
reconsider it.
Can't.
Make a motion to reconsider item number 19.
Just,
you were
Mr. Chairman, she was not on the prevailing
Right.
side.
Councilman Della Sola, if you'd like to make that motion,
Yes,
you were
you
on the
can.
prevailing side.
Reconsideration, please.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Items back before you.
Favorable action.
Second the motion.
We have a motion for favorable action, second. Clerk will read the roll.
Counselor Capone.
Yes.
Counselor Della Sola.
Yes.
Counselor DeFlorio.
Yes.
Counselor DePiero.
Yes.
Counselor Hanlon.
Yes.
Counselor Marchese.
Yes.
Counselor Matusky.
No.
Counselor McKinnon.
Yes.
Counselor Simonelli.
No.
And President Napolitano.
Yes.
We have 8 yeas, 2 nays. You have passed the order by roll call. All 3 licenses have been granted and can be picked up in the city clerk's office at noon or later on Thursday afternoon.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's see how many tours we get.
You can still get a tour.
Thank you for coming in.
What are you gonna look at, asphalt?
Anybody else on the signage?
Vacant lot.
Vacant lot.
We can revert back to regular order of business, Mr. President.
All right, so we revert back to regular order of business. Clerk will read item number 1.
Item number 1. Mr. President, is an ordinance offered by Councilor Peter A. Napolitano as president. In accordance with the provisions of Section 12 of the zoning ordinances of the City of Everett, the City Council hereby amends the zoning ordinance as follows. Section 32, inclusionary zoning, that the affordable housing percentages be amended to encourage development. The correct motion is to refer to the zoning board, to the planning board under the law.
So moved.
I have a second?
Second to refer to the zoning board, sure.
It's planning board.
Planning board.
I said it
Planning board.
wrong the first time. My mistake.
Okay, motion. Councilman
Number 1.
Hanlon on the motion.
I move favorable action on this. It was not seconded. Therefore, it is not before us.
Well, there was a motion to refer to planning, and that motion was accepted.
Okay, good.
Now,
But it
point
has
of
to be done.
information. As long as there is a motion before us and then second, and any motion will be accepted to put the piece before us. Favorable action does not need to be called. Any motion
And the
to
motion right
refer,
now is
to
to refer
postpone.
to planning board, and it's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Clerk will read item number 2.
Item number 2 is an ordinance offered by Councilor Peter A. Napolitano as president. In accordance with the provisions of Section 12 of the zoning ordinances of the City of Everett, the City Council hereby amends the zoning ordinance as follows: that the zoning map and zoning ordinance be amended to create a new zoning districts in the Commercial Triangle Study Area in order to encourage mixed-use development to reflect the evolving market in the City of Everett and Greater Boston.
Move to refer to the planning board?
Second.
We have a motion to move this to the planning board. It's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes
Aye.
have it.
Aye, aye,
Clerk will read item number 3.
On item number 3.
aye. I voted.
Is an ordinance offered by Councilor Peter A. Napolitano as president in accordance with the provisions of Section 12 of the zoning ordinances of the City of Everett, that the City Council hereby amends the zoning ordinances as follows: that the zoning map be amended by removing the industrial district along Revere Beach Parkway and replacing it with the with the business district so that it is consistent with existing zoning nearby.
Move to refer to the planning board?
We have a motion to send this to the planning board. It's been seconded. All in favor? Opposed?
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Motion to take item number 37 from the calendar.
We have a motion to take item number 37 from the calendar. Clerk will read the item.
Thank you.
Sorry, Mr. President.
Yeah, just throw it on there. Let's stomp some of these, please.
Item number 37, Mr. President, is an ordinance offered by Councilor Michael K. Marchese to amend the height zoning allowances so as to prevent what recently happened on the residential side of Revere Beach Parkway, new storage building.
Councilor Marchese.
I'm going to talk very quickly on this. I was kind of appalled to see the building that rose up there on,
Buell Street.
it was horrible on Buell Street, that storage. I don't know where that came from. I don't know what our zoning is. But I also think, well, we're sending all this stuff to the zoning board. I'd like to also refer this to the zoning board. And I think upon completion of this stuff, there should be a presentation of what we're changing our zoning to and what our height restrictions are. That building never should have been on that side of the street. I mean, you have people that live there, they'll never see sun again, never see the road again, and it should have been more tastefully done to what it was done. It's a horrible-looking building that destroyed that area. I don't care if it's industrial, people live down there, and I'd just like to send this also to the zoning board.
Planning, right?
Planning board.
Planning board, excuse me, yep, I'm sorry.
Okay, we have a motion to send item number 37 to planning board. It's been seconded. All in favor? Opposed? The ayes have it. Clerk, revert back to the regular order of business. Number 5.
Item number 5 is an order offered by Councilor Peter A. Napolitano as president to accept donations to the City of Everett Celebration Account. Paul W. Marks, $1,000. Kelly and Ryan, $500. And Century Bank, $500.
Favorable action, letter of thanks.
Second the motion?
We have a motion for letter of thanks be sent and favorable action. It's been seconded.
Councilor Capone.
Yes.
Clerk,
Sorry,
we'll read the roll.
I jumped it.
No
Jumped the
problem.
gun.
It's
Councilor
okay.
De La Sola.
Yes.
Councilor DeFlorio. Councilor DePiero.
Yes.
Councilor Hanlon. Councilor Marchese.
Yes.
Councilor Matusky.
Yes.
Councilor McKinnon.
Yes.
Councilor Simonelli.
Yes.
And President Napolitano.
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays, Mr. President.
You have passed item number 5. Clerk will read item number 6.
Item number 6 is an order offered by Councilor Peter A. Napolitano as president in order to accept a donation of approximately 50 tons of salt from Northeastern University.
Councilor Matusky.
Thank you, Mr. President. Not to get back to rock salt again, but where is this
Just
salt
this
going to go? To the city yards? Oh, okay. Thank you.
Favorable action, letter of thanks.
The motion for favorable action, second, a letter of thanks be sent out. Clerk will read the roll.
Councilor Capone.
Yes.
Councilor De La Sola.
Yes.
Councilor DeFlorio.
Yes.
Councilor DePiero.
Yes.
Councilor Hanlon.
Yes.
Councilor Marchese.
Yes.
Councilor Matusky.
Yes.
Councilor McKinnon.
Yes.
Councilor Simonelli.
Yes.
And President Napolitano.
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays, Mr. President.
You have passed item number 6. Clerk will read item number 7.
Item number 7 is an order offered by Councilor Peter A. Napolitano as president in order to accept the following donation. Honda Casa Boston, $250. Rocco Car and Henderson Funeral Home, $250. This is for the City of Everett Celebration Account.
Favorable action, letter of thanks.
Second.
Motion for favorable action, thanks be sent, seconded. Clerk will read the roll.
Councilor Capone.
Yes.
Councilor De La Sola.
Yes.
Councilor DeFlorio.
Yes.
Councilor DePiero.
Yes.
Councilor Hanlon.
Yes.
Councilor Marchese.
Yes.
Councilor Matusky.
Yes.
Councilor McKinnon.
Yes.
Councilor Simonelli.
Yes.
President Napolitano.
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays, Mr. President.
You passed item number 7. Clerk will read item number 9.
Item number 9 is an order offered by Councilor Peter A. Napolitano as president to transfer $125,000 from the budgetary fund balance, free cash, into Medicare account 0191525176.
Suspend Rule 13.
Second.
Second.
The motion to suspend on Rule 13.
Is this routine? Would
No.
you consider this routine?
Should we have this, should we have,
Yes.
this before?
Yes. Okay. Your pleasure.
Favorable action on the order.
The motion for favorable action on the order. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Clerk will read the roll.
Counsel Capone.
Yes.
Counsel Della Sola.
Yes.
Counsel DeFlorio.
Yes.
Counsel DePiero.
Yes.
Counsel Hanlon.
Yes.
Counsel Marchese.
Yep.
Counsel Matusky.
Yes.
Counsel McKinnon.
Yes.
Counsel, Simonelli.
Yes.
And President Napolitano.
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays, Mr. President.
You've passed item number 9. Clerk will read item number 11. 10, excuse me.
Yep, that's all right. Item number 10 is an order offered by Counsel Peter A. Napolitano as president to transfer $50,000 from the budgetary fund balance free cash into the recyclables disposal account numbers 14972 5297.
Suspend Rule 13.
Second.
Motion to suspend Rule 13. It's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Is this considered routine, Mr.
This is
President?
considered routine.
Favorable action?
We have a motion for action. It's been seconded. Clerk will read the roll.
Counsel Capone. Yes. Counsel Della Sola.
Yes.
Counsel DeFlorio.
Yes.
Counsel DePiero.
Yes.
Counsel Hanlon. Yes. Counsel Marchese.
Yes.
Counsel Matusky.
Yes.
Counsel McKinnon.
Yes.
Counselor Simonelli.
Yes.
And President Napolitano.
Yes.
That would be 10 yeas, 0 nays, Mr. President.
Passed item number 10. Clerk will read item number 11.
Item number 11 is an order offered by Councilor Peter A. Napolitano as president to transfer $400 from the IT hardware software equipment account into the IT longevity account.
Motion for favorable action has been seconded. Clerk will read the roll.
Counsel Capone.
Yes.
Counsel Della Sola.
Yes.
Counsel DeFlorio.
Yes.
Counsel DePiero.
Yes.
Counsel Hanlon. Counsel Marchese.
Yes.
Counsel Matusky.
Yes.
Counsel McKinnon.
Yes.
Counsel Simonelli.
Yes.
And President Napolitano.
Yes.
10 yeas, 0 nays, Mr. President.
We've passed item number 11. Clerk will read item number 12.
Item number 12 is an order offered by Councilor Peter A. Napolitano as president to transfer $350,000 from the budgetary fund balance free cash into the following employee buyback accounts. Employee buyback, $100,000. Final employee buyback, $250,000, for a total of $350,000.
I'd like to make a motion to have Mr. Demus before us on this one.
And suspend Rule 13.
Suspend Rule 13
Motion to suspend Rule 13. All in favor?
Aye.
on having Mr. Demus
The
come.
motion is to have Mr. Demus come before us. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Good evening.
Good evening, Eric Demus, CFO.
Yep, Mr. Demus, this seems like it'd be a lot of money would transfer. Could you explain to probably the people watching and to us where actually this is going, this last piece here, number 12?
Sure, the piece before you is contingent upon employee contracts. There are a number of provisions when employees actually leave the city's, leave service with the city, whether it be through retirement or just moving on to another profession. It has been extremely difficult for the city to project when and who and at what amounts employees are going to leave throughout the year. So as such, there's always been a small amount that's been budgeted. We've had a number of retirees this year, so as such, these amounts were not budgeted and were not forecasted. One of the things that we have done this year in a way to get a better handle from a budgetary standpoint is when we do have retirements in some of our union contracts that were just settled, we are requiring the employees to provide the city with a 12-month notification so that we can have better planning and better budgeting moving forward. So that we're now going to start getting a year's advance notice so that we can include those known retirements as part of the annual budget process.
Mr. Stevens, just one quick question. What do we have for free cash left?
I don't have the exact figure off the top of my head. It's right around $3 million.
And, all right, thank you.
Second motion?
Counsel Capone.
Yes.
Counsel Della Sola.
Yes.
Counsel DeFlorio. Counsel DePiero.
Yes.
Counselor Hanlon.
Yes.
Counselor Marchese.
Yes.
Counselor Matusky.
Yes.
Counselor McKinnon.
Yes.
Counselor Simonelli.
Yes.
President Napolitano. 10 yeas, 0 nays, Mr. President.
Doesn't have to, right? Is it changing hands? What's up?
Item number 13, Mr. President, is an order offered by Councilor Peter A. Napolitano as president that an auto repair mechanical license renewal is granted to Good Deal Auto Repairs LLC, 35 Garden Street.
Councilman
All papers
DeFlorio.
in order.
Thank you. So if all papers are in order, this is only a renewal.
Renewal.
So my recommendation is not to go to committee and favorable action on the order.
Second the motion?
Council Cronin, do you still want to speak on the motion? Okay,
If I could, real quickly.
please.
Any concerns or issues with the
No, no,
property?
they've been very good.
Okay, excellent, thank you. No other questions.
Okay, we have motion favorable action. It's been seconded. Clerk will read the roll.
Counselor Capone.
Yes.
Counselor Della Sola.
Yes.
Counselor DeFlorio.
Yes.
Counselor DePiero.
Yes.
Counselor Hanlon.
Yes.
Counselor Marquez.
Yes.
Counselor Matusky.
Yes.
Counselor McKinnon.
Yes.
Counselor Simonelli.
Yes.
And President Napolitano.
Yes.
That would be 10 yeas, 0 nays, Mr. President.
You've passed item number 13. Clerk will read item number 14.
Item number 14. It's a communication from the Everett Adult Learning Center, invitation to the Everett City Council for International Night on Monday, June 4th, from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Connolly Center.
Accept the communication, place on file.
On the communication as well,
Second.
Council McKinnon.
we have a budget hearing that night. I believe it's the same
Right in the
time.
middle of it,
So
yep.
we may not be all able to attend, so excuse us for not being there.
Can you send them a letter and let them understand that, please?
A letter to them to
Okay, so
explain why
motion
we're
to
not
send
there.
the communication to them, thanking them for the invitation, but giving our regrets because it coincides with budget hearings.
Thank you.
Do I have a second? Okay, all in favor? Opposed? The ayes have it. Clerk will read item number 15.
Item number 15. Mr. President, is a resolution offered by Councilor Michael K. Marchese that a member of the Historical Commission appear to answer questions regarding their duties and responsibilities. Just so we know, these are all Committee on Community and Business Development reports.
Council Marchese.
I attended the meeting today. It just seems like their hands are tied on doing anything.
Just currently, we are working.
We are current, so what would be the piece here, the referred back to?
The motion that came out of committee was to refer it back to sponsor.
Okay.
That's your pleasure, but that's what the
But
committee
but it will
reported.
die with me.
It will die with you, but I just so you know, because I'm their kind of department head, I will let you know what's going on going forward, once I have a better knowledge of it. Right now, we're working on it.
So if I refer back to myself, it more or less kills the piece, right?
Correct. You can refer to me if you wanted, and
So
I
why
can
don't we
report
just
back to you at some point.
refer to the city clerk?
Second. Motion to refer item number, lost track. 15, thank you. The city clerk. All in favor? Opposed? The ayes have it. Clerk will read on number, that was 17, actually. No, clerk will read on number 17.
That's all. Mr. President, item number 17 is a resolution offered by Councilor John Leo McKinnon, a resolution requesting an official historian.
Refer this to the Historical Commission?
Second. The motion is for item number 17, Historical Commission. Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Clerk will read item number 20.
Item number 20. Mr. President, is a resolution offered by Councilors Michael McLaughlin, I'm not sure who else, to invite Greg St. Louis and a representative from Community Development to the next Public Safety and Public Service meeting on March 29 to talk about the construction going on at Centillion Suite Circle and the construction equipment at this, that is parked on the island at Main Street.
Councilman Capone.
Thank you, President. The sponsor asked me to speak on this piece for him. Do we have the engineer in the office? I mean, the audience by any chance?
He's not here.
I would move we postpone this to our next meeting.
Okay, we have a
With
motion to
an invitation.
postpone number 20 to next meeting. All in favor? Opposed? The ayes have it. Clerk will read number 21.
Item number 21 is a resolution offered by, Mr. President, is a resolution offered by Councilor Wayne A. Matusky that a representative of National Grid appears to explain the option for electrical suppliers to homeowners in Everett.
Thank you, Mr.
Councilman
President.
Matusky.
I'd like to lay this on the table for our next meeting, and Mr. Cameron is not available this evening, so we'll just lay this over and maybe he said that, yeah, we'd like to re-invite him. He said he would come and add some information on this piece, so postpone, lay it on the table when
Okay, the motion is postpone item number 21. Do I have a second? A second to postpone item number 21 until the next meeting and invite Mr. Cameron back. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Clerk will read item number 22.
Item number 22. Mr. President, is a resolution offered by Councilor Councilors Michael McLaughlin and Councilor Fred Capone, that the National Grid Company update the Everett City Council as to the causes of the various power outages that have occurred recently in the Lower Broadway and Gateway Mall areas.
Council Capone.
Do we have any, through you to our clerk, do we have any communication?
No, but I think Mr. Cameron, who was, going to be at the next meeting, had some information.
Okay.
So I think that's why we...
Why don't we postpone this to the next meeting with the other piece? Invite Mr. Cameron.
Okay, we have a motion. Do I have a second? We have a motion to postpone item number 22 till the next meeting and invite Mr. Cameron in for that. It's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Clerk will read item number 23.
Item number 23. Mr. President, is an ordinance offered by Councilor Michael K. Marchese to amend the awning ordinance, Chapter 12 and 17.
Councilor Marchese.
Move for favorable action if we can vote on it tonight.
You can, it would be for enrollment. That was
Enrollment.
the piece I sent the last time. We were going to hold off until you guys had time to review it, and this was for enrollment. It has the amendments that you were looking for, and it
Yep.
has some other language that our city solicitor
Motion for
recommended.
favorable action.
Motion for favorable action, and this makes it an ordinance, we have some teeth in this one now.
Correct, so I have to post this, so it's not tonight. It's enrollment tonight, and the June 11th will be
So the
final.
motion be for just favorable action on the piece
Correct.
tonight.
Do I have a second?
Second.
The motion for favorable action on the piece is seconded. Clerk will read the roll.
Can we just, sorry.
This is for enrollment, correct?
This is for enrollment, correct. Counselor Capone.
Yes.
Counselor Della Sola.
Yes.
Counselor DeFlorio. Counselor DePiero.
Yes.
Counselor Hanlon.
Yes.
Counselor Marchese.
Yes.
Counselor Matusky.
Yes.
Counselor McKinnon.
Yes.
Counselor Simonelli.
Yes.
And President Napolitano.
Yes.
That would be 9 yeas, 0 nays, Mr. President.
Okay, you have enrolled item number 23. Clerk will read item number 24.
Item number 24. Mr. President, is a resolution offered by Councilor Fred Capone that representatives from the Mayor's Office and Community Development appear at our next council meeting to provide an update on Forestry Park project.
Councilman Capone.
Thank you, Mr. President. If we could have representatives from the various departments before us.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Been here, please.
Please state your name, sir.
Good evening, Kevin O'Donnell, Chief of Staff, Mayor Di Maria.
Thank you for appearing, Councilman Capone.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you to our guest, Mr. O'Donnell. Thank you very much for being here, being patient throughout our meeting. As you know, this has been a concern for all of us. The park just keeps going on and on and on. I've heard from the contractor, I've heard from community development, 2 more weeks, 2 more weeks. It's just one more thing that has to be done. We just have to do these pipes. We just have to do the other thing. And we have a situation where this was the first park started in the community, and we've got other parks that are done, and this one's still, languishing. As recently as a few weeks ago, there were cement tire tracks in the ground as a safety issue for kids. There was debris and pipes. For a long time, this contractor had an open hole where the cinder block hut was. This has been a disaster. Do you have any update from either community development or the contractor as to what is left to be done and where we're at?
Yes, I had a conversation with the planning director, Susan, this morning, and unfortunately, the 2 weeks number was given to us again, but we feel strongly that is pretty much a hard and fast number at this point because we have other things that we want to do at the park. And I know this has been an ongoing discussion for years. That's why we have kind of tightened up our policy in terms of people who can bid on the park, and the requirements are elevated for what they have done on prior projects. So,
okay, great.
But I will, if you like, I will have Planning Director Souza communicate that to this body, whether it be via an email or a handwritten memo in your mailboxes. I have not spoken directly with the contractor, but that is the conversation I had with Mr. Souza this morning.
Okay, thank you. And I appreciate you getting that information. I know your hands are tied. You know, it is what it is. There's a piece on the calendar here tonight, co-sponsored between myself and Councilor Marchese to try to address these things. I think as a city, we need to be a little bit more aggressive when we're bidding out contracts. You can't just have penalty clauses because that doesn't work. A while back, I had mentioned trying to negotiate contracts that have a penalty clause built in, but also a beneficial clause that if they finish ahead of schedule, under budget, that there might be an additional benefit to the contractor. So as we go forward, the request that I would have for you to bring back to the mayor's office is that when we're negotiating those contracts, we really got to get that language in there, both a penalty clause and a beneficial clause about positive performance. And we've got to get tougher with contractors because this is public money we're talking about. We need to get these services rendered for the community as quickly, efficiently, and in a safe measure as possible. And when you have a contract like this, we'll just use this one as an example because there aren't many floating around, but this is the one, it's just a glaring example. 4 years.
Yeah,
and I know,
Yeah.
you're as sick of it as I am. 4 years, it's ridiculous to put a park together. The kids in that area have not had a play area. There was a barricade, even the barricade on that park was put together with it looked like bread ties. Kids were getting in the park, around the park, over the arms. There were all kinds of debris and construction equipment there. How no one got hurt is a small miracle. And the fact that the residents in that area have been deprived of park for as long as they have, it's an injustice. So unfortunately, it is what it is. We're hobbling to the finish line. I do believe we're getting there. I appreciate your efforts along the way, but going forward with contracts, we really need to I think, have those clauses. We really have to look at those contracts and make sure that we do have penalty clauses and we do have those beneficial clauses that are going to make a contractor want to bid. Because if all you have is penalty clauses, no one's going to want to bid. But if you put those beneficial clauses in there about finishing on time, ahead of time, under budget, everybody wins that way. So
yeah, we're certainly open to those type of discussions, but fortunately, this was an isolated incident with this one project, and as we can see from the other parks that have been completed or are near completion, we haven't run into any of that, and a part of it is, testimony to the legal department and department heads getting together to kind of tighten up the language and the expectations and the qualifications of these of people who bid on these contracts.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I don't have any other questions.
Councilman Napolitano? Yeah, and I concur with my colleague. The thing is, the problem is with this project down there is that the residents down there are not gripping to the city, at least not to anyone that has any pull. We're hearing this constantly. I can't go down in that area for any other issue without this taking precedent. This is supposed to be the shining jewel of the first project done, yet 4 years, it still has problems. At what point do we say enough is enough, deal with the contractor in court, and move ahead with another contractor to finish the job? This is the worst part about this in Ward 1 is that we've already lost 1/3 of our playgrounds. We lost it to the Wind Project. All we have in Ward 1 is that park, which is unsatisfactory, and the stadium playground. Every other ward in the city has at least 3 playgrounds. And I've been asking, as my colleagues have, constantly for a date. And I'm sick and tired of hearing the runaround same answer. If we want to hear 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, I'll rent Money Pit and watch that. Because that's the running joke in that movie. This has gone on way too far. At what point now do we turn around and get somebody in there to finish the job?
Well, where we seem to be that close, I don't know what benefit we would be if we would have to put something like that out to bid. I mean, I couldn't speak from the legal end with respect to that, but I mean, it could potentially postpone things even further.
But this is the same answer we got last year. I mean, June 1st is Friday. The summer is already starting in a lot of these residents' mind, and they can't go down there and use what they were promised to be a state-of-the-art park. I mean, enough's enough. It's a slap in the face every time we go down there to try to do any other kind of work, because it's the predominant issue in there. Earlier this year, I got called down there to deal with an issue with a resident that was burning something in their chimney. There was deep black smoke down all over Chelsea Street. Residents came out. They didn't talk to me about the smoke. They talked to me about the damn park.
No, I recognize that, Council. We get our fair share of feedback from it as well.
But those are the people that put us in office. And if they don't feel we're doing our job, we don't stay in office. Okay? And we have much different exposure in that area than anyone else. And I just would like to see us nail down a date and move on it. Because that seems to be the elusive target here, trying to pin this job down. I would think that the third year, it would have been acceptable to move on with a different contractor and finish the job. But we're still got the same guy in there. He's still doing business in the city of Everett. We're not restricting him in any way, shape, or form. He may not be getting Everett City business, but he is still getting Everett business. And, you know, I think
not park construction business, though.
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You know, if he's still conducting business and he's holding a project over the city's head for whatever reason, I think we need to move past this. You know, when I was in the military, and I hate to go back to old stories because this becomes a running joke, but the thing is that when contractors don't deliver, you grab a new contractor. You penalize the old contractor and you move ahead. And if these jobs end up costing more money, then you hope to recoup that money in damages. We're not doing anything here that is noticeably enough to the public to give them the idea that we're doing anything. And I'm not disputing that I'm not saying that we're not doing anything, but from public perception, we're not doing anything. And that's where it counts in their minds. Now, all I'd like to see here is I'd like to see a date. I'd like to know exactly, because there's been so much going on now, I've lost track of what's still incomplete. I know the water park isn't working, correct?
That's the final piece of the puzzle.
And all the landscaping on that end of the park is?
Towards the water park, yeah.
Okay, so still we have landscaping to do on the end of the water park and getting the water park functioning. And we were told a year ago all it needed to do was be tested. Obviously, something else isn't working right there. But what is it that needs to be done?
Yeah, there was some sort of issue with piping, I believe, or something, but I'm not educated enough on the issue to speak about it. But I will work very hard to get you before close of business on Thursday, a hard and fast date, because that's how it was relayed to me this morning, that it's 2 weeks out. I mean, I even put it into a communication on another piece that it was 3 weeks out, but I was told this morning that that's incorrect, that it's 2 weeks out.
Ward 1 only has one completed functional playground, and that's above Everett Stadium.
I understand
that's
that,
unacceptable.
And hopefully we'll have 2 in a couple of weeks.
Thank you.
Kevin, quick question. Do we have a money figure, what we've spent down there so far? I mean, when he got the bid on that job, was he supposed to do the field also?
No.
Oh, was that?
Phase 1,
That was phase 2. What did phase 1 cost us? I mean,
I don't have those numbers off
You
the
don't
top
have
of
those
my head,
numbers
but
there.
I don't.
Do we owe him any more?
We could find the, we can
Yeah,
always
do we owe him any
ascertain all
more
of that.
money prior to that? Because I know prior to him doing the job, this particular contractor made a fortune removing the snow that he put on there during the 2015 snow year.
That was before my time,
Yeah,
Counselor.
that's what I'm telling you. So this has kind of been a take-all, do-nothing contract, and that was, we have a couple of professional people that do parks like in Sacramento. That's the real deal, people. That's the only ones that should do them.
Yeah, why
This-
we're getting those type of contractors for the Meadow and Sacramento is because due to this situation, we have tightened up the language in the contract and elevated the standards of what we expect for someone to even be able to bid on a project.
And the frustration, which Council Napolitano, I mean, to see the same contractor working and doing work and not finishing a simple thing just for the kids to get down there and have a park, that's frustrating for all of us here, especially when the park's all starting to look great and we get on the Florence Street and it looks terrible down there. I don't care. It needs more than the water thing, the water park, whatever there. But thank you for your time, and if you could get a figure of what we've spent there already, I'd appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All set, Counselor? Councilman Delasola.
Thank you. I drove by the other day. It looked like the water park itself, the concrete is poured, correct? You know offhand?
To the
It
best
was
of my
crushed
knowledge,
stone,
yes.
now it's
Yeah.
concrete. So I think just the rubber is left to put in there, plus some landscape.
Rubber and landscaping is my understanding.
Now, is the contractor who did the park doing the rubber, is that being contracted out? Would you know that answer?
I don't know off the top of my head.
I'm just trying to see,
Yeah.
if they're saying 2 weeks out again, hopefully it's a subcontractor doing the rubber, and I think that would be it.
that's
I'm just trying to
possible,
figure
yeah,
what is
I
left
know,
to do. I think it's just a landscaping and the ground or the rubber of the water park itself.
Yeah, and again, that's information I can ascertain, because based on my conversation with Mr. Souza today, he was just told that he had a conversation with the contractor today as well, and that's the information he was given. So he could speak with more specificity to it than I could at this point.
Hopefully in 3 weeks you come up and tell us we're having a grand opening. Because I
Well,
know
that's
it's-
the whole point of
I
one
know
of the
it's-
other agenda.
It's crazy, it's, the residents, what they're going through, it's
No, I sympathize. That's my old
unimaginable.
neighborhood
Right.
as well, so.
Right. All right, thank you.
All set, Counsel?
Yes, I am.
Councilman Matusky.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. O'Donnell, I would thank you for being here this evening. But the contractor was here with his supervisor for the project a couple of years ago, I think, or a year and a half. And he said he was going to plant mature trees. Mature trees is what I see going up in front of the Wynn Casino. Pine trees. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with what was there before this construction work took place, but there was some nice big trees.
Some nice shaded trees.
Shaded tree. Now, if you look at it today, Mr. O'Donnell, those trees are not shade trees. They're small trees. So I was wondering, is he obligated to put mature trees in, or are we just going to walk away from this project and maybe 10 years from now these trees will actually give some shade? I'm just curious.
And that's something I could find out as well, Counselor. I mean, I know, again, Mr. Souza would, be able to speak with more specificity to the contract, but
And
we will
you've
find
been
out.
down there, right?
Yeah, I drive by almost daily.
Do you think those trees are shade trees, or mature trees that are there now?
I'm not an arborist, but I would agree with you that they aren't. Yeah.
I agree. And he said he would. Now, that is on record, and let's get, what we've been promised, Other than that, I mean, the reason for it taking so long, I realize that there's been problems there with the rats and the electrical stuff, but we've got to get this done, and I, for one, want to see mature trees down there, Mr. President. That's what was promised to this board. I mean, the trees that are there, they're going to look good 10, 20 years from now. I hope that I'm around to see that, but that's not what we were promised. Mature trees is not what I see there. So, I hope that you let Mr. Sousa know that we want to see some substantial trees, because there was some nice trees there. I hate to see those along the basketball court. They were beautiful trees. But there again, they know what they're doing, I guess, but I want to see that happen. So if you could bring that to his attention.
I absolutely will.
Thank you, Mr. O'Donnell.
You got it. Councilman Capone? Excuse customary thanks. Thank you for appearing tonight, sir.
Thank you,
What's
Mr.
your
Chairman.
pleasure on the piece?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We've been talking about this piece for too long, and we've all bandied back and forth, and hopefully it will be done in 2 weeks. But I do think we need some more answers, and I think we actually need some action from our city.
Sure.
So what I would like to do is I would like to request from Mr. Demas how much has been spent on the project to date, what the contract price is, and if we owe any additional funds. I would like to have communication sent to the mayor's office that we consider having the city solicitor draft a letter giving the contractor a specific date and time for which to complete the job, and if the job is not completed, we'll be going with a new contractor. And I would like to have the representative from Community Development come to our next meeting. So I'd like to send those out, and I'd like to invite to our next meeting City Solicitor, Mr. Demas, representative from the Mayor's Office, and a representative from Community Development to address those issues that I've just requested.
I'm just trying to write down everybody
Yep.
that you said, so you got to hold on a second.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Mr. Demus, Community Development, Mayor's Representative,
And the city solicitor.
City Solicitor.
I think at this point in time, I think if there is any money that's outstanding, even if there isn't, I think the city and the taxpayers would do a refund of some sort. And if the contractor can't get this job done in the immediate future, it's time to switch contractors and go from there.
Sure. So the motion would be to hold this over to our next meeting?
Yep,
Postpone
inviting
to
those
our next meeting,
individuals with the
invite,
information requested.
yeah, with all the information requested, and invite Mr. Demus, Community Development, a representative from the Mayor's Office, and the City Solicitor. All
Correct.
those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. You have done so.
Item number 25, Mr. President, is a resolution offered by Councilor Stephen Simonelli to request Mr. O'Donnell appear at our next Government Operations, Public Safety, and Public Service Committee to give an update on the opening of Air Force Road with regards to traffic and public safety issues.
Council Simonelli.
Mr. Chairman, through you for Councilman Simonelli, I'll refer back to Public Safety, Public Service.
We have a motion to refer item number 25 back to Public Safety Service. It's been seconded. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Clerk will read item number 26.
Item number 26, Mr. President, is a resolution offered by Councilor Stephen Simonelli to request the mayor set up a date for former Councilor Joseph R. King dedication of a request for a written response back to the City Council at our next meeting, and I do have a response.
Council Simonelli.
Would you like that read?
Mr. Chairman, through you for Councilman Simonelli, could you read the letter, please?
It says, "Good evening, distinguished members of the council. With respect to item number 26 on the council agenda, I'm writing to you this to inform you that the current plan to recognize former Councilor Joseph King will be held during the official opening of Florence Street Park. This date will be determined when we can secure a date of completion for the splash pad portion of the park, which is expected to be completed, as he stated, in 2 weeks."
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Mr. Chairman, refer back to the mayor's office with a written report back to the council at the second meeting in June.
Next meeting.
Okay, we can only request in the next meeting, but we have a motion. You want to, motion to send it to the mayor's office, response back at our next meeting?
Yes.
Okay, I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Clerk will read item number 27.
Number 27, Mr. President, is a resolution offered by Councilor Michael K. Marchese to inquire as to the new hours of operations for the Walgreens on Broadway.
Do we have anything sent at all?
So, yep, we tried to get in touch with them. I personally couldn't, but we did have your new legislative aide actually went over
Yep.
to Walgreens last week. And
I believe
spoke with the
Glendale's
manager.
closed at 12 now, right?
I'm sorry?
Glendale Square is closed at 12.
Yep, and Broadway will, the new location, as of now, what they said, it will stay the same as the current operation.
Okay.
So I believe that's till 10
10,
p.m.?
yeah, which is fine, yeah.
So that's what they've stated to Michael.
That's good. Now we just have to close down a couple of these late-night 7-Eleven stores and put the city back to some kind of normalcy. Refer back to sponsor.
We have a motion to refer back, item 27 back to sponsors. Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Clerk will read item 28.
Item number 28, Mr. President, is a resolution offered by Councilor John Leo McKinnon that the contractor repair the sidewalk at 48 Woodlawn Ave, replace the hot top with concrete, and fix the crack in the sidewalk next to it.
Council McKinnon.
Is there any reply back from
Um,
Mr. St. Louis or any department?
Yes.
What department?
This is from Mr. St. Louis,
Okay.
the Director of Engineering and DPW.
Thank you.
He wrote something back to me. He said, Sergio, that National Grid has been contacted, because they are the affected party. They have been contacted to permanently repair the patch, and they will do so in the near future, so they're
But-
expecting to do it soon. But it was National Grid that did it, and they've been contacted and said they were coming out to do a full correct patch.
You know what, though, that's a good thing that they replied back. I'm glad that they
Yeah.
did, because we didn't know who the contractor was at that point, but through the efforts of Mr. St. Louis, that was a good thing that he found it. We should actually, I may actually put an ordinance in to where there has to be a time frame for them to actually repair it, because it looks shoddy, number one. They cracked the next one over, number two, and it's a brand-new sidewalk.
Yeah.
So we shouldn't have to be looking at this stuff every day. I mean, this is what we're talking about, Florence Street Park, now here, same thing.
Just before you do that, Mr. St. Louis might have some more information. He
Yeah.
was working with Dave in my office to mimic some things that Stoneham have, that when people do cuts of either curbs, the sidewalks, or street, when they do a patch, depending on the age of the street, will depend on what type of patch, whether it's full depth reconstruction, whether it's up curb to curb, whether it's a smaller patch. So the older it gets, the less they'll have to do, but
Yeah.
it'll still have to be a clean cut. So there is an ordinance that may be coming sooner than you think, that Mr. St. Louis is working on with
Yeah.
David.
That,
So you know.
I mean, that's great that you're working on it, but, I mean, we should be able to assess some type of fine if they're not doing that, and they come back a month later, say, and they
Well,
leave it in the way. They
I think
put
that's what
hot
they're
top
writing.
down. I had pictures of this, and I put them out, and I believe everybody got them last meeting. So there was hot top down, the next one over was cracked, and they just left it like that. And that's brand new sidewalks. The people up there are in arms about it because they just got their street done over. I would be too, you know? So, I mean, I'm gonna look at what we need to do. I'm gonna work with Mr. St. Louis, and I'll come down and work with you two guys as well, so, but we'll get something on the books, to make sure that this happens now. Thank you. I'm gonna refer this, back to sponsor, and then I'll work on it to bring it into an ordinance form.
Councilman Del Sol.
Was it,
Thank you. Councilman McKinnon, what Eversource does with the gas on something like this, they have a year from the time they did the work to replace it. I'm not sure if National Grid has that, but we have 1 year to replace the slab that was there. So if they take a half a slab out, when they come back within the year, they take the whole slab. If the one's next to it's cracked, they replace that one also. I'm just letting you know, informational piece, that's what we do. They do hot top first. They won't cement it the same day. And what they'll do in the springtime, they'll get a group of damaged sidewalks in the area, and then do them all at one time, not just jump around the city and do one, you know what I'm saying? So, I'm just letting you know, we have a policy, I'm not sure if National Grid does, but it's within a year.
So it's almost like the lights, how they do them.
No, I think,
Who does lights? Who does lights?
that's electric, I'm on the gas. I'm on the gas side. All right, buddy. Yeah.
Councilman Marquez.
well, maybe every time we give them a permit, we should have a upfront fee on it. You know, maybe a $500. You know, the person, I guess, would have to go out and estimate the amount of damage being done by a city, you know, maybe one of the city estimators, it's $1,000. Take the $1,000 up front, give them a couple of months. Obviously, in the wintertime, they're not gonna do it. Give them time. If not, we repair it ourselves. Keep the money. You could do that. Should take the upfront money. Every permit should, if it's, you know, $50, throw another $1,000 on it.
Your pleasure on item number 28? Okay, we have a motion for item number 28 to go back to sponsor. Second, all in favor?
Yeah, aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Clerk, read item number 29.
Item number 29. Mr. President, is a resolution offered by Councilors Anthony DePiero and John Leo McKinnon to discuss new badges for the auxiliary police force and funds appropriated last year for auxiliary expenses at the Government Operations, Public Safety, and Public Service meeting on 3/29/18. I do have a response.
Clerk, I believe we have a response. If you could read the response from the chief.
Sure. Actually, I believe this response comes from the Chief of Staff, Mr. O'Donnell. He says the police chief and the members of the auxiliary have been meeting regularly for the past month and are coming to a resolution with respect to the badges, uniforms, duties, etc. This issue should be resolved soon. Oh, I'm sorry, I have one from Mr. O'Donnell also.
This is one from the chief.
We got a chief one.
Yep, I'll read that one too.
Thanks.
Yeah, sorry about that. I didn't see
No,
it. I'm writing to respond, this is from Chief Stephen A. Mazie. I'm writing to respond to you regarding the status of the auxiliary police department expenses. Currently, we have been in the process of conducting a department-wide review of practices and department needs. When we are complete with this task, we will be putting a new department policy in place and making any equipment needs purchases. We will be glad to provide information on these issues when they are completed. In the meantime, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out at any time. Thank you in advance for your patience and cooperation.
What I'd like to do with this, if it's okay with the chairman, to see if we can put this back into public safety and wait for them to complete it, because it's been a long time coming. They're actually talking, that's a good thing, and hopefully we can get a positive result from it. I'd like to see when, you know, all this, the info and the badges and everything's gonna be happening, so we'll just put it back into public safety and wait from there.
We have a motion to send item number 20 back into public safety and public service. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Clerk will read item number 30.
Item number 30.
Refer back to sponsor.
I have to read it. Item number 30. Mr. President, is a resolution offered by Councilor Michael K. Marchese in support of the city's consideration of mandating that all wheelchairs, electric scooters, and bicycles have a 3-foot flag somewhere on the scooter, wheelchair, and/or bicycle to prevent accidents at crosswalks where there otherwise cannot be seen by oncoming vehicles while heading out into the street.
Councilor
There was
Marchese,
a
if you
response.
restate your motion.
I don't know, everybody seems to be kicking it back. Refer back to sponsor.
Okay.
Second motion. It was a motion and a second to refer item number 30 back to sponsor. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Clerk will read item number 31.
Item 31. Item number 31, Mr. President, is a resolution offered by Councilor Michael K. Marchese that a no parking sign from here to the corner be put on Clarence Street near the corner of Woodlawn Street on the odd side of the street. Yep, so you can go, so that's it, not to come back here.
We have a motion for item number 31 to go to traffic, and with the sponsor to be invited to that meeting. We have a second. All in favor? Opposed? The ayes have it. Clerk will read item number 32.
Item number 32. Mr. President, is a resolution offered by Councilor Wayne A. Matusky that the guest sign-in sheet be copied and distributed to all members before the start of all council meetings.
Councilor Matusky?
Mr. President, it appears that you may have changed the worksheet assignment to the city clerk.
Yes.
Oh, good. So I'll refer this back to sponsor. The reason why we had a little issue with it at the last meeting, but seeing how you've taken care of it, I'll refer it back to sponsor.
Second.
Thank you, Councilman. We have a motion for item number 32 to be referred back to sponsor. And second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Clerk will read item number 33.
Item number 33. Mr. President, is a resolution offered by Councilor Wayne A. Matusky that Massport be notified that airplane noise was very loud on Sunday, May 20th, between the hours of 2 p.m. and 9 p.m., to make sure that this will not be a repeat of what happened in 2017.
Councilor Matusky.
Thank you, Mr. President. Once again, on this particular date, we were inundated with plane noise of 4 or 5 planes a minute, if you can believe that, on this particular date. But I'm happy to report that I was able to sit in my backyard for the last week or two, and the planes have been very quiet. So, you know, I want to thank the city clerk for drafting that nice letter. I want this sent to them. I left out one word here, that the Massport be known. The airplane noise was very loud and frequent on this particular date, but I just want to read something. This was and I'll be very brief, Mr. I know this board, this is not in everybody's liking when I But this was a report that was in one of the Globe magazines last week, just so you understand, the members here, how important it is to make lodge a complaint. And I just want to let you know that in 2012, Massport received 2,331 complaints. So flash forward to 2017, which is last year, 59,343 complaints. So you can see that this area, and this is from this area, by the way, and the article goes on to say that noise, sounding the alarm on noise from trucks, from planes, is very bad for your health. Now, maybe it's because I'm showing my age a little up here, I don't know. But the truth of the matter is we're getting somewhere with Massport, and they've quieted down. I don't want a repeat of last year. It was a nightmare for the people of this city in certain sections. You know, it's a funny thing, Mr. President. If it's not in your, and you know what I'm talking about. Because I get calls from right across the street.
I live right under the glide path.
There you go. We're in the same boat on this. But, you know, the strange thing is, if it's not in your backyard, it's a boring issue to you, and you don't really care. But the truth of the matter is, they can press a button, and those planes can go anywhere they want in Everett. And for the people that think it's not a serious issue, and it is, they are very mistaken, because all they have to do is switch it over, and it can be switched to the other end of the city, just like that, because they've done it before. So I'd like to refer this to the Massport Department, and I want to thank you, Mr. Clerk Cornelio, for doing a wonderful job on that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Have a second? All in favor? Opposed? The ayes have it. It's on item number 33 of Massport. Clerk will read item number 34.
Item number 34, Mr. President, is a resolution offered by Councilor Anthony DePiero. It's an act, support an act modernizing the foundation budget for the 21st century, supporting Senate Bill 2525.
Councilman DePiero.
Mr. President, first off, I'd like to make a motion to refer this to Legislative Affairs Committee as our rules dictate. This bill is a result of Senator DiDomenico's hard work, as he explained to us a few weeks ago, of trying to update and modernize the unfair school funding formula for low-income students that we've been faced with the last couple of years. And this bill does plan to fix it for the next fiscal year, so I think it would be a nice gesture for the City Council to show the support of the bill, as the school committee has last week. So that is my motion. Thank you.
Have a motion to send item number 34 to Legislative Affairs. And seconded. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Clerk will read item number 35.
Item number 35, Mr. President, is an ordinance offered by Councilor Michael K. Marchese and Councilor Fred Capone to prohibit any contractor from obtaining any contracts or permits from the City of Everett while a public contracted project they are working on for the city is delayed, unfinished, or over the contracted budget.
Councilor Marchese.
Yes, I think that most of you people should jump on board of this. This should be all the council support, you know, so it should probably read, if anybody objects. I don't know about Mike McLaughlin, how he feels about it, but I know the 10 of us, though.
Read it on Facebook.
But I think it should be inclusive. It should probably be all council members.
Second.
Oh, this is everybody.
Okay.
Thank you.
Capone.
Thank you. And I agree with the sentiments, Council Marchese, 100%. This is something that is long overdue. I mean, we've been talking about projects that have gone on. We've got one that's been glaring. But the reality is we have a responsibility to the taxpayers' community. It's their money that funds these projects. And those projects benefit all of us. And if you have a contractor that's doing work and they drop the ball on a public project, and yet they spread themselves thin all over the place everywhere else, they shouldn't have a permit. They shouldn't be able to do any additional public work in this community until they take care of what they're obligated to do. So I think that it's in furtherance of our collective position that this community, we as a city council, are going to become a lot more resilient. We're going to stand firm against contractors who are going to waste and squander taxpayer money. and we're going to fly in the face of the needs of this community. So if you're a good contractor, you're going to come in, you're going to do your job, you're going to follow the contract, and you're going to conduct yourselves in a professional manner, we welcome you. However, if you're going to conduct yourself in such a way that you're going to delay, you're going to go over budget, and you're going to waste the time of this council and the city, and you're going to waste the money of the taxpayers of this community, you don't need to apply. You don't need to apply for anything. And until you fix what you've had to do and you get it back on track, you won't be doing business in this community.
Councilman DePiero.
Thank you, Mr. President. First off, if it is all right with the sponsors, I'd like to make a motion to amend this by adding the entire city council.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to amend this to include the entire city council.
Second.
It's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
And the
Please
second
continue.
thing, I would just like to request the sponsors to perhaps send this to a work session of legislative affairs so we can all collaborate and work together on this and get the solicitor involved so we avoid any legal troubles and all collaborate would be my suggestion. Thank you.
Councilman
Just a
DeFleur.
quick question.
Actually,
Oh, I'm sorry.
well, he's new speaker. You, go ahead, please.
Not to raise any problems, but Counselor from Ward 6 is not here. I don't know if it'll be a good idea to put his name on it. Where he's not here, I recommend that we put our name, and if he wants to be added, he can always do it at a later date.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. We'll need to amend that motion, which we just voted and approved.
How do we amend that?
Just
Be it further amended to have the entire city council excluding Councilor McLaughlin on this piece.
All the
For
members-
the-
all the members
For the moment.
present.
All the members, all the members present, however you want to
Because
state it.
that sounds prejudicial.
Yeah,
They
no,
pick
so
on a
all the members
company, that's
present would be the
why.
way. Well, it's just because he's not here.
Okay, all members present,
All
fine.
the members present, and we'll give them the
No, I
opportunity.
think that's only fair. So we have a motion to amend this to amend it to the members present. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
And,
Councilor Marchese.
And just a quick thing, 22 years ago, I introduced a piece regarding the taxes that were, the outstanding taxes, that, we had millions of dollars that no one was paying. And when we did pass a piece like this, the results were staggering. All of a sudden, you couldn't get your license unless you paid your taxes or you got into some kind of payment plan. So that was big then, and I think right now, if we stick together, and this is a responsibility we do have, and I think this will be good for the city, and it's great that everybody's on board here. Thank you.
So we have a motion to send this to legislative affairs. It's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? As amended, the ayes have it. Clerk will read item number 36.
Mr. President, is a resolution offered by Councilor Michael K. Marchese that a no parking 40 feet from the corner sign be placed on the right-hand side of Elsie Street at intersection of Birch Street and Elsie Street?
Yep, motion to further traffic, and also have a letter inform me of the meeting.
Okay, motion to send item number 36 to traffic and invite the sponsor to attend that meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Clerk will read number 38.
Item number 38. Mr. President, is a ordinance to amend by deleting Section 10-27 inspection request before occupancy of Article 3 Certificate of Habitability.
Councilor Marchese.
When this piece came out, I sponsored because I thought it was kind of a good thing to get a second pair of eyes on an existing apartment before it was rented out. But as it went on, it more or less gave free access to any part of your house. And it got away from the goodness of it and became a part where once you open the door, they can go through your house, the complete house. And I don't even care about the fee, but this is not needed in the city of Everett, because all this is a hit piece. You either are there or you're not there. And if you're not on the good side, it's a hit piece. I found out personally. Well, I can name 10 places in the city of Everett that have the same situation, but, and that's the reason. And so, I mean, I think we should look into this. We don't have to vote on it tonight, but put yourself in a situation. I mean, I know a lot of people in horrible situations. I went through it. Do I think it was fair? No. But I went through with it. And I did the same thing for 10 years and never had an issue. And the minute this came up, I had an issue. So, not to make it to the personal agenda, but I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who have horrors out there. And I just think that before you call up and you have people come into your house with no restrictions, you better watch out. Because you open that door, your house is open for a target hit. It's a horrible thing.
Your pleasure.
Governor Knopf,
Legislative Affairs.
I'll make a motion to send to Legislative Affairs.
We have a motion to send to Legislative Affairs. Do I have a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Clerk will read item
Excuse me. Item number 39. Mr. President, is a resolution offered by Councilor Rosa DeFlorio and John Leo McKinnon that the Traffic Committee monitor Bradford Street from Hancock Street to Cedar Street.
Thank you.
Councilman DeFlorio.
Mr. Chairman. We've had numerous complaints in this area. Unfortunately, it's a tight area, and cars are getting hit. And I know they want to make it a one-way. I believe they've done this before, and the people on Cedar Street had a problem. So I believe that the Traffic Committee should monitor it, maybe start tagging people that are parked at the corners where people can't come around the corner. Because obviously we have all these rules, but it doesn't matter. People park there anyways. I've never heard anybody get a ticket at a corner. So we've got to start doing in these tight areas where people can't get through. You're coming down Bradford Street to go to work. If there's somebody else coming, there's parking on both sides. Who's going to back up first? And then the road rage happens, and then everything gets blown out of proportion. So I would like to have the Traffic Commission monitor it and see what can be done about this. Maybe they can come up with something different and give us a report back in about, I'll give them enough time, 30 days, or maybe the first meeting in August. I don't know if we're gonna meet in July or not.
We haven't made that determination.
We haven't made that determination yet, so I would say the first meeting in September. I'm going to refer to the Traffic Commission. With a response back on the first meeting in September.
Yeah, you can do that.
That gives them enough time to do their study.
Do I have a second? We have a motion to send item number 39 to traffic for response back to first meeting in September.
Yes.
And second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Clerk,
Thank
read
you.
item number 40.
Item number 40, Mr. President, ordinance offered by Councilor Peter A. Napolitano as president, an ordinance to amend the livery licensing article of Chapter 12 of the revised ordinances to allow the city clerk to approve licenses for small home occupation-based livery services and livery vehicle operator permits for all livery services. There's two things. These next pieces, the person who wrote it out of my office is here, the consultant, and also I can just elaborate very briefly, but there are preambles built onto this that tell you exactly what, why we're doing it. We've discussed this, the livery one. It is to streamline the licenses so all the little ones do not have to come before you. So if they're built working out of the house with one car, it just gives me the authority instead of having to send 100 of the licenses up here. And to do all the operators out of my office like I do the taxing.
We have favorable action
On the motion?
ordinance. Council Capone.
I'm sure that it's written fine, and I know that
And
I've
Colleen
talked to
reviewed.
the clerk about the issue, so I don't think we'll have any issues. I would say that before we vote on it, just to take a look at it, so maybe we could lay this over to our next meeting. Yeah, postpone to our next meeting.
I'll take that motion back and I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion to postpone item number 40 until our next meeting. It's been seconded. All in favor? Opposed? The ayes have it. Clerk will read item number 41.
Item number 41 is an ordinance offered by Councilor Peter A. Napolitano as president An ordinance to amend Chapter 2, Administration of Revised Ordinances by replacing Section 2-66 Fee Schedule for Services. Again, this is just amending the fee schedule for my office. We've been out of date for about 22 years. So this is just going in line, and this is, I think, I've spoken with Council Capone for sure about the public hearings that come up here, and they pay $25. The utility companies, this is increasing it to $200, because we do a lot of work in our office for these public hearings, and they pay a very minimal fee. So it's just coming back in with the times, and we're still lower than most communities, just so you know.
Do I have a motion?
Mr. President,
Councilman DeFlorio.
didn't we do this before, or was that different?
No, we're going to be
Different.
reviewing all different types of fees. This is my office specifically. We did fire department.
Right.
We're working, every office is going through their fees, and you're going to see a second one come from me, too. This
Okay,
is just
so
for
this
my-
was not in the original fees?
No,
All right.
absolutely not. I wouldn't do it twice in a row.
So fa-
Do I have a second? We have a motion, favorable action on the order. It's seconded. Clerk will read the roll.
Counselor Capone.
Yes.
Counselor Della Sola.
Yes.
Counselor DeFlorio. Counselor DePiero.
Who?
Counselor DePiero. It's favorable action.
I
Mr.
apologize, I didn't hear you, yes.
Counselor Hanlon.
Yes.
Counselor Marquez.
Yes.
Counselor Matusky. Counselor Simonelli.
Yes.
And President Napolitano.
Yes.
That would be 8 yeas, 0 nays, 9 yeas, 0 nays, Mr. President.
You've passed item number 41, or rolled it. Clerk will read item number 42.
Item number 42. Mr. President, is a resolution offered by Councilor Peter A. Napolitano as president, a request to the Veteran Services Director that the weekday square dedication start at 6 p.m. in order for the city council members to attend after their full-time jobs.
Council Capone.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to refer this to Veteran Service Director.
Do I have a second? The motion to refer item number 42 to the Veteran Service Director. It's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
And the final piece, item number 43, Mr. President,
Councilman Del Sol.
is a resolution offered by Councilor Peter A. Napolitano that the Everett City Council resume the 4th of July events such as races, doll carriage, bike decorating at Glendale Park, and a special committee be formed to plan it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The, actually, I'd like
He's
to
over
speak
there.
on it. I'd like to
Frizzle,
speak on the
frazzle,
piece.
frizzle,
Thank
frown.
you.
He's over there.
Yeah, Council Napolitano.
This came about, I'm not really clear on when it stopped. I know that we have not done this since the new city council was formed 5 years ago. When it stopped, if it was done by the last bicameral group, I'm not sure. But last year, 4th of July, we had residents come down, believe it or not, with decorated bikes, wanting to know where the races were. Of course, they swore it was done the year before. We know it wasn't, but at least not by us. But at the same time, you know, in the spirit, and talking to a number of our colleagues here, Mr. President, you know, the feeling is that it's our way of giving back. And I think it's a great idea. I mean, I have not heard any opposition on individual conversations, but, and I know it's short notice. We basically have a month, a little over a month to put it together, but I think it's something we're very capable of doing, and I would like to see us resume this. One thing that I stated that my goal was at the beginning of the year was to be able to make sure that we had a dedicated fund to be able to give back. And this is one of those type of events. So I would ask for favorable action on this, in which case, if you're interested.
Do you have a date?
4th of July.
That day?
Yes, it's a Saturday. No. 4th of July is a.
We're not celebrating the 4th on the 4th, though, are we?
That's what I
Look,
mean.
we can have it in conjunction with whatever the city is going to be doing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, we're not looking to do
7th, I
anything
think.
independent of the city. But right now, I'm not sure what those dates are, and that's something that I would ask the special committee to be able to do. So I would ask any members that are interested in this. Otherwise, I will assign at least 3. I know a few people have expressed some interest in being involved in this. So, I mean, it's, we want to get this thing moving, so we'll need to determine, you know, when the city is going to be having its Independence Day celebrations, how we can coordinate in that and make this function.
I think it's July 7th.
July 7th
Is it?
or 6th? 7th.
Okay.
You all set, Council Napolitano?
Yes.
Council Matusky?
Thank you, Mr. President. I agree with Councilman Napolitano on this issue. You know, traditionally, the races were a great thing. I remember the Clidzy's ice cream. It may not seem like a big deal, and it really wasn't a big deal, but guess what? It was a big deal to a lot of people. Now, Councilman McKinnon and I sponsored a watermelon eating contest. How many years ago was that? I don't know. Well, it had, your son won. His son was just a little, he's going to college now. But the truth of the matter is that that watermelon eating contest was a big hit. And the Silver Fox provided the watermelons. We got the trophies.
The seventh.
And it was a wonderful, it was the first time the watermelon had been done. But I can remember going way back with Rose LaCours, Councilwoman LaCours with the bikes, and the kids enjoy it. And the races are another big thing. They get that little trophy, and it would be nice to have the trophies to give them that particular day so that when they go home, they can show off their trophy to their family and friends at a barbecue. But I really think the city of Everett should get down to, you know, these big parades are great and all that. No, wait a second. I'm not, right. You know, all this stuff is good, but it does cost a lot of money. And as the mayor had said and the chief financial officer, we are not in a position this year or next year to do some of these extra special things for the community. So I really believe that we, you know, and it's a fun thing too. I enjoyed my time doing that down at Glendale Park and at the Line Street Park and at Florence Street Park with the other councilmen. But I think we gotta, you know, take a reality check here and calm down a little on the, you know, the development money that's supposedly coming in. And let's have some smaller level good times and bring back some more religion here, old-time religion. Because it was more fun then, believe it or not, to me anyway. But I'm 100% in favor, and I hope you put me on this committee. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Capone?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I agree wholeheartedly. I remember when we did this years ago, and it doesn't have to be expensive. You know, we did ribbons, years where we didn't have ribbons, everyone kicked in, gave a buck or two to the winning individuals, and the kids thought that they won the Olympics. You know, it was such a huge deal for them. And the ward councils coordinated ice cream and the races, and then one year I think we coordinated that the winners from the ward parks went to Glendale Park and actually went for like a city runoff. So it was pretty huge. So we could do ribbons at the parks and then trophies at the at Glendale Park. And I think the kids loved it. I know, as Councilman Matusky said, I enjoyed it, and I think everyone had a good time. So I wholeheartedly support it. And I
Maybe
think it's
we'll
a
have a
great
city
idea.
council race.
Yeah, I'm not so sure Florence Street will be ready for that.
No.
But at any rate, you know, maybe we'll have to go to the stadium or something. But we'll make it work. All right, thank you.
Councilor Napolitano?
I'm glad to hear some support. You know, again, we've only got a short amount of time to put something together to get the ball rolling. And with getting something started this year, we can expand on that next year, because we'll have some foundation. I mean, I gave out ice cream at the Ward 1 parks for 18 years. And when I first got into politics, I remember walking down down on Line Street, Mrs. Giordano, reading me the Riot Act as, you know, we only see you people during election year. And then it's unfair that the kids down the line need to go all the way to Glendale Park. Well, you know, it's a different environment now. We're all citywide, we're all represented. It's harder to do ward individual stuff, especially when you're at large, you have 5 at-large representatives. But I think it's important to get the ball rolling again and have something going back that gives us an identity as far as being involved in handing something back. And I think that impression was started last year. You know, the council gave out popcorn and cotton candy until everybody was sick of popcorn and cotton candy. And we're getting requests to do it again this year. So I'd ask favorable action for this.
Okay, on one information on that piece before we vote on this. July 7th is the event. In any event we have, they have to be off the field by 1 o'clock. So
that's easy. We can do it in the morning.
Everything gets set up, the fireworks and all that. So we'll keep that in mind when we do the event. If it's too early, but we'll get it done. Glendale Park, yes. Same as last year, the fireworks, all the vendors will be there, and now we'll have the
We
races.
do in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll organize that with the city.
And we still got to finish the piece.
Yeah, you didn't do anything for the
All right,
piece.
Council would do it for this piece.
Okay, motion favorable
I'm
action.
sorry.
And that any interested parties meet with me after the meeting, and I'll sign a
Okay,
special
all those in
committee.
favor? All those opposed? Ayes have it.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it.
He didn't break the hammer.